I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as dead I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal for how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fam's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speak in the God.
Can't hear you, Freezy, unless. Okay, I'm broadcasting. I see now. I heard it on the YouTube. So, good morning, folks. We're gonna wait for Uncle Freezy to get back. He's probably running a little late this morning, so let me kick the show off. Salute to the chat, Uncle Freezy, Knicks at night, the whole team. What's up to everybody? Rough morning. I don't like to talk about that other team, but they were our opponent last night. So I guess that would lead some credence into discussing them a little bit. To me, big loss last night, barring all that they had going on yesterday. Definitely a very motivated Kevin Durant. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's saying that, this is what he always wanted, but he is a highly efficient scorer of the basketball, very efficient on the floor when he's there, and which is why there's not a team that plays in the National Basketball Association that couldn't use his talents. Let's just call it for what it is. You saw it first dive. You've been seeing it his entire career. But I was hoping that, potentially that with all that's going on, them being shorthanded, them having some players I think we probably had the most experienced players on the court, even though RJ's a rookie. He's played a lot of games, a lot of minutes, plays a lot of minutes this year. And so I just thought all of that was in our favor last night. Understanding how important this crosstown rival is to us. You see, I'm one who crosstown rivalries and not like the Knicks. My organization tends to be the smaller organization in the conversation. So I was just hoping that maybe we can go out and get that win last night. Players would be a little more efficient. The ball would go in the hole a little more because I knew it was going to be about scoring. I definitely wasn't going to be afraid of any defense that they could put forth. I don't even know I didn't even really see a lot of zone last night. But I'm not really sure what to expect from this team. Excuse me that I don't have the normal energy I have because as a Knicks fan, I've been a Knicks fan since 1983. It's getting tough. It's getting very tough because, what are we to do, man? What are we to do? We just want to see some resemblance of a team. We're not even asking for a championship right now because if you know how the NBA goes, the NBA is set up for right now for 4 or 5 teams to potentially win the championship. We never expected to what G said. I thought you was about to tell us a scary story. I'm sorry, man. You want me to wake up after a bad loss to our crosstown rivals and be my normal giddy self? I'll be honest. Being a Knicks fan since '83, that feeling is starting to creep in again. That feeling of what are we going to be? Who are we going to be? How are we going to get there? I'm starting to already. My mind is already starting to creep to the draft, but I'm not. I won't let that happen, guys. I still want to see some development from this season. Yo, shouts out to Kevin Knox, man. Shouts out to Kevin Knox. Because at least, he's not getting, other stuff done. But that 3-point shot of his, man, he's got to be, if he got more minutes, I'm telling you, man, he would be he'd be up there with the NBA leaders, man. That looks like one of the best set 3-point shots in the NBA. That arc is unreal. Somebody worked at it. You could tell he worked at it in the offseason. We still need to get him bigger, going to the hole so he can finish bigger. We want to see that we still want to see that summer league Kevin Knox that was going to the hole and dunking everything. But I trust that could come. He still knows how to pull on him. A couple times he went to the hole. His man fell back or got scared. He stopped, pulled up on the dime. I see some development in Kevin Knox. And remember, he didn't get a lot of time to display his offense in college. I think Kevin Knox is one of those players that had a quick growing spurt. So maybe he's still getting used to his 6'10 frame, 6'9 frame. But I saw something from him. And if you put some players around Kevin Knox, I'm telling you now, man, some shooters, some drivers, he's going to get a lot of open opportunities. Kevin Knox is a piece of this future. He's showing early in the season. So I'm definitely keeping faith. Kevin W., salute to you, Knicks at night. Way to believe in Knox when others were trying to knock him. I think that there's only one player. Obviously, Julius Randle, man. I don't. Julius Randle's going to cause the Knicks front organization some serious nightmares because they're going to have to make a decision about him. In the immediate short term, they're going to have to make some decisions about that man's long-term future. And I'm waiting for Freezy to come back. Let's have some discussion about that. But let me handle the protocol. Protocol being, let's shout some people out. Let's go back to the top. Apologize because Chef NYK, what it do, player? SG the third, you always in here, always showing love. What up? Primo, what's good, fam? Primo, like the DJ, the producer, Primo, what it do? JR Martin, salutes. Thanks for the shout out early this morning. Believer, the God of Moses and Elijah. Ralph, what it do, player? Good morning. Tough morning, man. But I see you strong Knick fans in there, man. I am Jarrell. What it do, player? What it do? Robert Parr. I played golf yesterday. I didn't make a lot of pars yesterday, man. I played horrible. I don't know if that par has anything to do with golf, but that's all I saw when I saw that name. What it do, man? I see the same people chatting again. I didn't see no new ill matrix. Yo, y'all got some fire YouTube names, man. Y'all just are so very creative. Some of y'all are millennials. Y'all gotta help an OG like me, man. I'm trying to be cool. I came up with something ghetto intellect. I hope it stick. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, y'all are cool. MIG. Good morning, players. Hey, let's hold our heads, Knicks fans. Excuse me. It's gonna be tough out there for us today. Let's hold our heads, man. Yeah, hey, listen, I'm a Met fan. I know what it's like when the Yankees win all them championships, man. You know what I mean? But let's hold our heads today. Let's hold our heads. G, just G. I'm just a G. Simple. You know you're a bad man when you only need one letter to identify yourself. What it do, Playboy? Frederick. What it do, man? Frederick. There wasn't two R's. Frederick. What it do, player? Simmer Singh. Yeah, see, I got a little freezy. I've been around him a long time. Simmer Singh. What's up, man? I never got to meet you, Simmer, but but I'm gonna tell you something. It's not a show that I don't go on, that people don't talk about your platform, how long y'all been doing it. I think y'all did this before StreamYards allowed us to turn on and show our pretty faces. Holla. Try to get up for you. I wanted to feel a little Mets today. That's the only fandom right now that make me feel good. But I heard a lot about you, Simmer. Hopefully one day I'll be able to participate with you. But where is Hunter? Good morning. Not Zay. If you're not Zay, then who is you? That's what I need to know, not Zay. If you're not Zay, then, you saying don't play Zay, not Zay. Zay ain't the one for that. Not maybe Brad, but not Zay. I got you playing. Chuck Allen, salute. Good morning. RF Gaming, I'm mad at you. Unless it's a rumor. I think I saw that the best score for Rutgers, and I don't know the players. You know, I went to a state school in New Jersey. I don't know the players, but they say one of the best players for Rutgers is Ron Harper's estranged son. Is that story true? Could you hit me a thumbs up or yes? Ron Harper's estranged son is the best player for Rutgers, one of the top scorers in the nation. Is that true? Looks like some of the names are repeating. July 92. I am July 71. Are you a Cancer King? Salute to you. Jose Perez. Jason Alba. What's up, everybody? Living the good life. Really? You gonna share some of that good life with us? You gonna share some of that good living this morning, fam? Because we need it, yo. Living the good life, yo. It's hard out here for a Knick. Wayne Peterson, you always around. We appreciate you. Salute. Felipe 210. Holla King. Chuck Allen. Yo, just salute to y'all loyalty, man. I just can't tell y'all how much Freezy appreciates it, because then he gives an opportunity for a kid like me, somebody who's always been a Knicks fan, to come and express his Knicks fandom. I'm not no basketball guru. I played a little ball growing up. Street ball was my thing. But in street ball, it's 100% ISO. Spread the floor. Let's get to work. We might run a pick now and then. But I just hope that his name is Ron Harper Jr. too at that. Wow. Oh damn. Hard to deny your junior, huh? But the Prince. Where you at, the Prince? What's up, man? I need a co-host, man. I'm new to this thing, man. When I grew up in the 70s, man, and came to my my mandom in the 80s, we had this internet stuff, man. I don't know how these content providers do it, man. They just sit here and talk to themselves for hours, man. At least I guess they got the chat. Allah wise. What up, IK? What up, IK? Allah wise. What up, IK? Salute, Kang. Chef NY. Okay, everybody else. Parish Dogger. Parish Dogger. What up, though? What it do, though? So let's get back. More people are popping. Freezy will come in and help me, because that was hard, man. I didn't want to leave nobody out, man. I feel like, hey, if I left somebody out, blame it on my head, not the heart. If I left somebody out, blame the kid, blame the head, and not the heart. So if I had a show, and because me and Freezy, we don't talk behind the scenes. He doesn't sit me and say, yo, I'm going to be out this morning. So if I had a show, first thing I would do is start off by saying what I said. So let's start back at the top. Now that we done, protocol has been established, and we done shouted out the real G's in the audience. Protocol haven't been established. If I had a show, I would have started out by saying, first, last night was a win that I really almost expected to get. You coming in shorthanded. I'm shocked KD played on back-to-back nights. I think he played 31 minutes. I got to pull up stats. It's hard for me to do stats and keep you folks entertained. So, because we are here for the entertainment. The Knicks at Night podcast, Knicks Morning Drive. We here for the entertainment. So I can't look at the stats, but it looks like he played 30 minutes on back-to-back. Now, he did sit out 14 games, so maybe that allows it, but I doubt to see KD in too many back-to-backs in the first 15 games of the season, right? So I was hoping maybe he didn't play. Am I allowed to ask for cheap win, guys? So I got the interrogation room light set up. I was going to tease Freezy and say, look, today's an interrogation type of day. We need to really make a real assessment. So I'm going to keep going with the feel. I ain't going to go and turn on the big lights. I even put the little creepy, my daughter's creepy partition in there. Like when she wants her not to be bothered when people come to her room, she goes and gets this partition. So I wouldn't steal it from her room. But seriously, man, I at some point, Juju 92. Did I say July 92 before? I'm sorry. Juju 92. Salute to you. So here come Freeze. But if I had one thing to say, I think at some point we've seen a lot of games. We've seen good basketball. We've seen bad basketball. We see what we have to do to win. We beat some good teams, so we know what that means. And we got to score the ball. And I just really think that if we're going to be serious about our Knicks fandom, we got to set the expectations. It's time to really sit down and set the expectation, guys. We cannot just, keep talking playoffs and we're not playing playoff quality basketball over 5 games in the season early. Good teams don't do that. They may win a couple, lose a couple. And if they lose a couple, y'all go, oh, see? They're not playoff caliber. Look, they're not going to win a championship. Now, all of a sudden, they turn it on. We can't expect that this is going to be a Knicks team that just turns it on. Uncle Freezy, cut me off whenever you're ready, but I'm going to hold it down, bro. I'm here for the culture. I'm culture. And I ain't no culture vote.
Yeah. Yo, so I'm at the doctor's office, but I got a bad connection.
Uncle Freezy, you want me to keep doing what I'm doing there?
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. As soon as I get out of here, I'm going to jump on. But I'm in a waiting room, so you know how that is.
Uncle Freezy, I just want to tell you something. Be careful. If you give a big mouth a microphone, it's gonna be hard to get it back. So go ahead, go on mute, and I'm a rock.
I know but you the plug. So you the plug. So I've been riding co-pilot for like since you've been here. So
Well, can you do me a favor? Can you say good morning to the people? Though, let them know you're here. You're a good spirit. You're a good health.
Yeah, hey, yeah, man. So shout out to the chat, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all the most, man. We got the most loyal chat in the game, and we got a whole lot of stuff that we got to talk about. Let me bring my guy in real quick. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what's good, Coach?
What's up?
Yeah.
I got your back, bro. I got
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, Uncle Freezy. Now in fact, you better be careful because I'll get real comfortable with Coach Color. Go ahead. Now we want you to go on mute. You know how the Supremes be like, your voice is hurting tonight. Oh, boo boo, that's so. Your voice hurts. Oh, I'm sorry. That shit. I hate that happened to you. And I run to my dressing room and look. I'm like this. I'm in my making sure I hit my finest notes. So, but go ahead, Uncle Freezy. Handle your business. We don't want the
Yeah, man.
doctor's office to make you crazy. Me and Coach gonna go ahead and hold this down. And we probably, I know him. I can get to a conversation. Where do we pivot from here? Because it is who it is. We are who we are.
Yeah.
We couldn't beat that team last night. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so for one, I'm not sick, man. I'm doing my annual checkup. You know how you get your checkup done in January, just to,
keep it real. You getting that colonoscopy? Keep it real.
Oh, hell no. No, they had to chase me for that, dog. I had to. No, I ain't volunteering for that. Even though it need to be, and guys, when you get over 40, make sure you do all your, whatever. But
actually,
yeah,
actually, they said it's they almost don't do it no more. They do it non-abrasive, but we'll have those health conversations in the off season.
Hey, jeez. Well, so I wanted to ask you. So, would you shoot yesterday on a golf course?
God, it was so cold though. First of all, I shot a sloppy 92. I mean, I would make 2 pars, then make 2 double bogeys. Then I didn't make no birdies. Oh, it was a sloppy 92. I lost some bread. I was getting out shot. So I'm the best handicap in the group. So I'm always giving out shots. So if I don't play close to my best game, I'm coming out my pocket.
I got something. Hold on, let me do this real quick.
So, Coach,
what's up?
What should you heard me talk a lot? What should Knicks fan be feeling like this morning? Let's start there.
I had a long rant last night on Legion's podcast about last night's loss. I've come off the proverbial cliff. I had to sleep on it.
Oh, so you feeling a little better? So you got yours off. I didn't get mine off.
No, I feel like slightly better, not a lot better. I still feel kind of the same. So the gist of my rant yesterday was that I think yesterday's loss was like a pretty impactful and bad loss for us. And I still stand by that.
It wasn't just me. Go ahead.
It was not just you. I think with everything going on in Brooklyn right now, the Kyrie drama, the James Harden trade, Kevin Durant and a bunch of G Leaguers, Steve Nash, all this drama. We had to go out there yesterday, and I'm not even asking for a win, but that game was not competitive till the last 2 minutes. We were never really in that game. And I was so embarrassed and so heated last night because I was like, listen, if Tibbs can't rally the guys to at least show out in that game, given the context of yesterday, then what the heck is he here for?
Yeah. See, I don't want to go that hard early.
I'm going that hard because that's what I lost it. Paris Duggar's right. I lost it. I was like, what is Tibbs here for? Tibbs, I thought Tibbs was the culture guy. That's what I was told. I thought Tibbs was the guy who was going to rally the troops for a game like this. The only guy, end of the second quarter, I rewatched the game this morning.
You rewatched it?
I rewatched it to make sure, intellect, that I was being as objective as possible. I rewatched it to make sure that I'm not letting my rage, I'm not just seeing red. I made sure that I rewatched this. Chat, end of the second half. End of the second half. Randall just threw his hands up. He just threw his hands up at his guys because he's like, who are these guys? Who do you have on the court with me? Is what he was basically saying. Because you can hate Randall all you want. He's trying. And at the end of the second,
Yo,
he was trying. And at the end of the second half, he was so frustrated. And I felt bad for him. I felt bad for him because I'm like, listen, you could love or hate the guy, but he's playing for the badge. He's playing for the Knicks jersey thing right now, and I think he's the only one doing that.
when I see, that's why I said the discussion to trade him, man, or not, man. That Knicks organization got a tough decision to make. Because let me tell you something. Because DeAndre Jordan is old now. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
That's why I went off on him. Like
when he flew through that lane,
I was like, you gotta
and
be kidding
dunked
me.
on them, and they just looked at each other. He screamed on them. I just said, "Who are we?" Like, I'll be honest. This doesn't look better than last year.
It doesn't. Yesterday was a Fizdale game. And that was my whole rant yesterday, Intellect. Chat heard it. If you were on Legion's podcast yesterday, I was like, this franchise and this team is a whole bunch of losers. And it's just guys, minus Tibbs and minus Austin Rivers. Nobody on this team has won anything. Anything. And listen, I slept on this. And I still stand by it. If you surround any organization, business, a school, workplace,
with all losers,
sports team with losers, you're never going to be productive. It just is the way it is, right? Right? Intellect, am I right?
I knew where you was going. You saw what I said. I helped you ad-lib it.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, you want some context? Intellect, I feel like I'm re-saying what I said yesterday, but whatever.
I missed it. Come on, give it to us.
All right, chat. The Carmelo Anthony Easter game against the Bulls. Remember that? A decade ago. That was a decade ago, chat. A decade. The Carmelo Anthony Easter game. Where he looked like where he was the man. Right?
Listen,
that was 10 years ago.
So you were not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this. When I first heard you, I said, listen, he could go deeper into the game because he coached it at a high level. Because coaching them AAU kids is a high level because there's so many kids that can do so many things, and you got to keep them going in the right direction, right? They're all really talented, the kids you get, or they don't even make your team, right? So I said, okay, I can learn more X's and O's from him. But when we just get down to the pure, philosophy of basketball, that's when I said, oh my God, he approaches it like me. Last night I said, almost every time somebody shot, I said, that's not going in. That's not going in. And then my mind immediately said, the last time that somebody shot the Knicks for the ball and I thought it always was going to go in was Carmelo Anthony. And I wanted him out of here.
Yeah. And
I'm dumb.
It's
Carmelo, I'm sorry.
It's crazy. Like, love or hate Melo. I get he's very polarizing. I 100% understand that. And I'm a Melo guy, but I get it. I get him. He's like Westbrook, just the way he is. But one thing you could say about the guy, he tried. And the last 2 years, I think he got the raw end of the deal. And we sold him like he was some cancerous or some, and now that 10 years have passed, we're like, no, he was not the problem, because he was not the problem. And I'm thinking back to those last 2 years he was on the Knicks, and he just looked so dejected because we're putting like Alexei Shved on the floor with this guy and Kuzminkas, and he's like, what do you want me to do? Like, who are these guys? Melo wasn't a champion, but damn. He had a measured baseline of success in this league.
That's right.
He jab stepped his way to the Hall of Fame. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. So he's like, I at least have some measurable level of success. He's always been at least a very successful player in college and the Nuggets, even with the Knicks. And I remember watching him look so dejected halfway at the end of his tenure. And the media was like, oh, it's Melo's fault. But I'm like, was it, man? Was it his fault? And then I see Randall looking dejected yesterday. I'm like, this guy's playing 40 minutes a game. He's playing the best ball I've ever seen him play. I also get Julius Randle is polarizing. But, man, ain't nobody helping him out. Ain't nobody playing for the Knicks colors right now. Nobody's playing for the Knicks colors. And that was my rant. I was like, the gist of my rant was like, what do these Knicks colors even mean anymore. Like I don't even know what they mean. And then there was also a shot. KD got fouled in the first quarter, and he fell. And
But everybody ran and picked him up.
five net players picked him up. And I'm like, bro. Five
Yeah,
net players
man.
picked this guy up.
Yeah, man. I'm scared for. I'm scared for. I don't want to get too deep into it. I'm scared for Kyrie's career. If he don't get it together, I can see them just suspending him for the rest of the season without pay. Nets get to put some more money in the bank.
I got a whole thing about Kyrie, but that's a
That's
separate
another
podcast.
time.
But yeah,
Hey,
that's my
Marcus
whole gist
Walker.
about the Knicks.
Marquise Walker, listen, I got the juice now. But one thing I learned is that it's heavy as the head who wears the crown. So I'm glad Coach is here with me to share some of this juice. Freezy will be back. I'm definitely gonna spread the love, man. More importantly, I'm gonna spread the love to y'all. Y'all quiet in there this morning. Parrish Duggar, I love you. You're always positive. I always read your stuff and be like, man, he's an optimist. But if you need 20 games to analyze what you see on the court, the last 10, 15, what we played? 15 games now? What we played?
11,
12,
12,
13?
something like that.
Yeah, if you need 20, I hate to see it. The Knicks will not come close to winning a game if 4 guys don't step up and have career nights. Guys, let me say this to you again, because the young boy, and when did quickly started scoring down the stretch, right? When it really didn't matter anymore, right?
Him and RJ had a really good third quarter.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Had a really good third
Yeah,
quarter.
but for New York, and you already know what Randall's going to bring. So his isn't career nights. His is consistency. You need Randall to consistently be himself, and 3 other Knicks to have career nights. You guys hear me? Don't say, oh, because you just heard Coach Colorblock says, other than Rivers, and now, unfortunately, I wanted to hold Rivers up as the next superstar for the Knicks. Here's who he is. He's getting more minutes. He's got to figure it out, getting more minutes too. Now he's used to coming off the bench, playing with second teams, playing with second guys. You know what I mean? Or for a good team, so they resting their good players while LeBron he didn't play with LeBron, while other great players he played with rest. Chris Paul. So they say, all right, while Chris Paul's down, I got to sit this guy down. So maybe he's not used to these. He's got to get used to these first team minutes too. These playing with the best players. But that was sad. They had nobody last night.
No,
they have carries. Go ahead.
No. Half these guys last night, we were half joking but half serious. I was like, who are these guys? And I don't mean as a roast, but I'm like, these were like G League, former G League guys, like journeymen. Like these were NBA nobodies.
They had 9 guys play, Coach. Let me give you some color. They had 9 guys play. Only 2 of them shot bad. Of 2 of the guys that shot bad, the other one, Brown, had 12 boards. Go.
I'm sorry, I'm keeping track of chat. But yeah, let me ask you this, chat, and let me ask you this, Intellect. Can you guys name me one New York Knicks player leader on this roster?
Because somebody said it in the chat, Coach. They said Randall's not vocal. So
Randall's not a leader.
Yeah, and he goes out and does his. So I do believe in leading by example. I really do, Coach. You don't have to speak it. Go and do it. So maybe, because that's what I'm hoping Obi picks up. If he doesn't come in and try to play like Randall, and then he should be better than Randall because he's supposed to be ready offensively. So that means if you tell me you're ready offensively, you could pass, shoot, and dribble. And all Randall is doing is passing, shooting, and dribbling and getting his. So Obi should follow how Randall gets his on the court and be able to do it, no?
I guess. I don't know who is the guy who brings
we have no
team.
Leaders.
We have no leaders. We have no leaders.
Rivers is supposed to do that, but he can't do that. That. Yeah, and he set himself up for that one game. But he had to come out the next game and at least have something that resembled a jump shot or be able to get his buckets. And so he was a leader that one night, but that wasn't sustainable. And I got to give it to Legion of Knicks. Shout out to Legion of Knicks podcast. He says, y'all really think Austin Rivers is going to come out and do that every night? I said, come on, man.
Maybe, yeah. He did that in high school. That was about it. Yeah, I don't know I just don't know who the leader on this team is. Like, last year's Lakers team, the leader of that team was Jared Dudley. Like all the guys went to Jared Dudley because he was a 15-year vet and he knew his way around the league and people respected him. And Braun does his own thing, but you know, on record it was Jared Dudley. And I'm like, who's our Jared Dudley? Who's our guy who like understands when to right the ship, when to not freak out, when to right the ship on the player level? Because I just don't see a player on this team who is capable of that. I mean, leader could be anybody. It don't have to be the point guard, but I don't know. And until we get that guy, and I hate to sound like the talking head ESPN dude about leadership, but it really does matter for a franchise like this. Like we need leaders more than anything right now. Talent too, but we need leaders to just kind of keep this whole thing.
Thesis Thomas. Your whole Nets had outcasts.
Yeah.
Real lookout when the guys score. The whole chat was like, "Who is the player?" Randall is not, nor is he the guy. Randall, good, bad, or good games results are the same. Therefore, he not it. Here's the problem. I had that same what you just said. I had that same, thought process towards Carmelo Anthony.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
Well, sorry. I was gonna say I think Melo got the raw deal about that because now that I see it in context, I can't think of a single guy who complained about Carmelo Anthony on a player level. I can't think of one. By all accounts, people love this dude. It was the media.
I used to say he held the ball too hard. Maybe he can make his other players better. Randall's not doing that.
Yeah. Here's my thing as a coach from the coaching perspective. I'll tell you this, chat. I know I've coached some McDonald's All-Americans. When I got one of them, no one cares that they're not touching the ball because they're winning games.
Right, and they want to see what they're doing without the ball.
Right, because they're winning games. And so it's the same thing with a Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It's like
I get what you're saying.
It's
winning cures. You're basically saying winning cures all.
Yeah, for the fan, it's like, oh my god, everyone's standing around, they're just watching Melo. But on the court, minus a few guys who may want some more flowy touches, it's like, who cares? He's gonna drop 30. We're gonna win.
Primo, you say Randall is overrated. Okay, fair. All right. Let's take that in for a second. Randall is overrated. Then where's all our other overrated players on the Knicks roster? Why aren't other guys playing overrated? Why is Randall the only one coming out playing 40 minutes a game and giving you consistent numbers across the board? How is that overrated when a guy just goes to work and does his job and does what you ask him to do? How is that overrated, Primo? Oh, he meant RJ was overrated. Okay, Primo, you scared me. I was like, whoa, and Randall, and we're getting that for 20 minutes. The production that we're getting out of Randall, guys that are getting paid 40 million. Kyrie's getting $41 million a year. You don't even know if he's going to come to work or not. I don't want to keep talking about Kyrie, but I get a chance to because we played the Nets last night. I get maybe 3 games. What, we're playing 4 times a year? 4 times a year I get to talk about the Nets, and it makes sense. The day of and the next day. Randall just comes to work and does, but he says it's not Randall, so let me shut up. My bad. RJ's overrated. I don't know what his rating is.
I had a whole rant about RJ last night.
Let's go, Color. Let's go. Because what is RJ's rating? To be overrated, you got to be rated, right? What is his rating? Uncle Freezy, welcome back. We're gonna let Coach Color Block speak to Randall. I mean, RJ is being overrated, and then the show's back in your. Oh, all right. Well,
he was letting Kevin.
Okay, go ahead, Coach Color Blocks. What's up, Kev? Good morning, baby.
Hey, Coach Color Blocks. It's a pleasure to be talking with you again, man. I love your work. Love it.
Appreciate it. All
right, so Kev, go ahead. You want to? Are you going to give me why RJ is overrated or your RJ rant? And then Kev, I want to get you right in there right after that.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if chat hurt my rant yesterday about RJ Barrett. I'm hot today. I'm sorry. I slept on this and I'm still a little hot. Okay. Chat, answer me this at this point. Just give me some answers to this. If from a basketball perspective, I don't really know. So let me start with this. I am pro RJ. I like the kid. I'm team RJ. Right. Love RJ. Good kid. Real hard worker. I'm glad he's a Knick. We need a guy like that. But I'm just saying this, and I'm seeing it in the chat. How can two left-handed players be on the court be overlooked? I'm gonna talk about that because what is RJ Barrett's? What is he good at from a skills perspective? He's got the size to be a swingman, but he's not an effective 3-level scorer. So you can't call him a slasher. Slashers have to be 3-level scorers. He's not good from deep. His mid-range is inconsistent, and he shoots pretty poorly from inside the basket, around the basket. He's got no touch. So there's that, right? He's not a 3-level scorer. He's okay at each level. He's not exceptional at any one of the levels. So he can't really bank on one of those skills, right? I could take the fact that he can't shoot, but he's not really a mid-range guy. But he's not really a mid-range guy, so I would assume he can get to the hoop, but he doesn't really play above the rim. And you see what I'm saying? He's kind of mediocre at all 3 levels of the game. So that's my first kind of take. I'm well, we got a slasher who can't necessarily slash. And is he a secondary ball handler, chat? Because his handle is above average for a big guard, but it's not really great. And he's got the vision, but he's not the greatest passer. So you can't really run him as that. So I don't really know what he does. I don't really know what he does. He's good at getting to the basket, but he can't finish. And he's good at rebounding because he's big. But he's not consistent at any of the levels that you.
He's strong though, coach. He's a strong man for 20 years old.
He is, but he's young, so that's a good thing. But so here's where I ended up with this conversation. I'm right. Tell me, chat. Nothing I said just now was wrong. Nothing.
Well, can you give me a rating? Because they say he's overrated, but overrated means he's in. Everybody thinks he. I don't. What does it mean for RJ to be overrated? He's only playing. I guess I don't understand that comment. It comes out or not, but what does it mean for RJ to be overrated? He's only played 70 games.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think he is overrated.
I don't think he's overrated, but I think we got to take a serious look at what his skill set actually is.
We got to get a rating for him, right? We got to get a rating and then hold him to some. We got to set an expectation for him, and that's where I wanted to go today. Set an expectation. Coach Keller Block, let me. Now it's Coach Keller Knox. Oh,
I changed it.
Yo, did you hear me about speaking about Knox? But hold on, Coach.
I think I made the same mistake too. So,
Cat, good morning. I just want to know we appreciate your Steve Mills voice, your smile you bring in with every day. You know how somebody's their articulation kind of sets their intellectual level. When you come in as the smartest man in the room, so God bless you. But Kev, let's first ask. Good morning.
Good morning.
First, let's say, what does it feel today to be a Knicks fan losing to that Nets team, because we got to call it that Nets team, and what's on your mind? And I'm gonna run. I see Uncle Freezy coming back. I want to grab my morning. I didn't get my Blanche tea today, so I usually cause to creep out, but I got thrown on Summer Jam screen today. So welcome. Go ahead. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, no one is ever happy with losing. And we're on a 4-game losing streak now. The one thing that's upsetting is that aside from Randall, our veterans are not coming through for us like they came through for us in the beginning of the first 10 games. I'm not seeing those teardrops that Peyton used to, throw down. It seems like Rivers, they say coming back down to earth. He's come back down to earth and gone into the ground pretty much, because I'm seeing uncharacteristic things from him that I never saw with him when he was with Houston and when he was with LA. So that's a little disconcerting. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Nerlens Noel. He is not. This wasn't the guy. The last time I saw him was with OKC. This is not that same player. And I'm just tired of no-name players from other teams having their will against us. There was no reason why those players on the Nets last night, no names, were
Okay. All right.
so that's mainly what I was really upset about last night. My young players, I'm going to stick with my young players because that's our core. That's why I consider them our quote unquote cornerstones. Um, when you look at Kevin Knox he had a good game. It's nice to see quickly now. I'm starting to see the basket again. His shots were falling a little bit, and I'm not worried about RJ at all. I know he's going to come out of whatever he's going through. So I'm not worried about my young players. And Coach Cullen Knox, you were talking about a leader. The one player that I see as being a leader after he shakes off this quote unquote rookie label, I could see quickly becoming a leader.
All right, but Kev, hold on. I got to stop you this morning, and I'm about to put you on the hot seat early.
Oh, shoot.
Yes, because you just heard everything Coach Cullen Knox said about.
I was just joking.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go back to color blocks, but I wanted to Coach Color Block. You're right. Look, you don't want to lose your brand, right? You heard everything Coach Color Block said about RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
And then you said he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So the conversation was, is he overrated? So what is he going to, when you say he's gonna be fine, what exactly does that mean, Kev?
Okay, all right. So let me go back to Coach Cullen Knox's original thing of being overrated. I don't think he's overrated.
I don't think he's overrated either. Just
Yeah.
clear. I don't think he's overrated at all.
And when I say he's going to be fine, I'm saying that maybe not right now, but getting, maybe 20 or not even 20, close to 20. I think by 20 games into this season, I think we'll see a more consistent player in Knox. I believe that. Now, I don't believe that he'll make humongous. I don't think he'll humongous strides hitting it from the 3-point range. But I do think that his 2-point range, whether that's around the basket or just trying to shoot a jumper, a short jumper, I believe that will be more consistent and more efficient. I think that will. Now, when you have a coach saying, if you got it, if you're open and you got it, shoot it, I don't think that that's going to leave. So in other words, if that 3-point shot is available, I still believe that he's going to try and attempt it. And he's just going to have to live with the consequences pretty much. But again, I think that his efficiency around the basket and to shoot a jumper, I think that we'll find more positive consistency close to 20 games and above. So that's what I'm saying.
My whole thing with young cores in general, the term young core and all that stuff, it's like a hot commodity in the NBA.
Yeah.
My whole thing about that is you have to temper expectations for what that core may or may not be. And that's all I'm saying about our young core, so to speak. And so when the Celtics are drafting Tatum and Brown, and they say, and Smart, and they say, okay, this is our core. They may not be producing numbers right now, but we can see the potential. We can see the trends for what they might become in the NBA. Then you can accurately say that that's a young core. My whole thing is our rookies for the past 3 years have been so inconsistent in their performance that I don't really know what they could be, because I'm not even seeing an approximation of what they are currently giving me. And so one thing I think is important to ask about RJ, I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm not saying he's overrated. I like the kid. I'm glad he's here. But we have to be realistic about what he is showing on the court and where that projects for his future career and what we think he could become, what things we assume he develops, and all those things. that's when we can say, okay, this is what our young core might be in a few years.
And that's the key that you just said, develop. Now, before Thibodeau and all these other guys come here, we had no development team. We had none of that. And we hardly had any stability at the head coach, and the coaching staff. So a lot of I would say a lot of the shortcomings of our young core starts with the organization, with the development. Now that we have Thibodeau, now that we have Kenny Payne, now that we have Bryant, now that we have a structure on the coaching staff as well as the organization, I think now, and you'll probably see it with Toppin and Quickly and whoever else we're bringing in. I think now we'll have capable youngsters, coming through, and unfortunately, I feel bad for your Knox, for your for RJ, for Mitchell, and even Frank. How many coaches has Frank been through, and how many regimes has Frank been through? He's been through 4. So I guess what I'm getting at is, I think now that we have stability at the management, this management regime and also this coaching regime, I think the development will come in quicker and put a more positive spin on developing these kids.
And
Coach, you want to say so? Go ahead. You want to respond to that, because I want to ask Kev some questions after that.
Yeah, well, I think that all comes back to the original point I started off with. Like, if your organization hasn't been consistent,
right?
If your organization hasn't shown that it can consistently harness talent and be a place where players want to be and grow, like I keep bringing the Jason Tatum example up, but it's important, right? When he gets drafted to the Celtics, his agent and his parents are like, you know what? He's going to be okay. When Jason Tatum gets drafted to the Celtics, he sees the 13, 15, 20 banners hanging in Boston Garden. When someone gets drafted to the Knicks, they just see instability. They see coach turnover. Their agent probably told them that the last rookie to re-sign with the Knicks was Charlie Ward.
Uh-huh.
They probably see that the last top draft pick we had got traded for nothing. They see all these things. The agents talk to them about these things. Their parents talk to them about these things. And so if we're not creating a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, grounds for development, then you're never going to develop players. So yeah, I think there's some truth to the fact that we probably don't even know how good or bad Frank and Kevin are. We probably really don't, because 3 coaches in 3 years and this and that, and raw deals and all across the board. So the question now is this new regime the regime that's going to provide some stability to the franchise? And right now, my answer is the jury is it's too early to make that call. So, yeah.
Guys, let me establish some protocol, please. Stephen Fox is working on minimal hours sleep, and he's in the building. Hopefully he's laid in the bed with his cell phone and watching us. Pause.
Morning, Steve. Please get some sleep.
So Kev,
yeah,
you made some great observations and some great comments. The problem is, let me set this right and make it fair, right? We had no off season due to this unfortunate COVID pandemic we've been dealing with. Once the season starts, you can't develop players. Well, let me say, I'm sorry, let me not. Is it possible to develop players using the coaches? You said the development coaches. How much time do they really get with players as the season goes on? Players got to rest. You got to go in the film room. You got to travel. You got to get to a game. 24 hours, in your life goes like this. So when you talk development, are you talking during the season? Are you expecting players to get better? Are you talking about a solid offseason with a solid camp into the next few seasons? What's your timetable for this development?
Number B, letter B. what you just said about having a. What did you just say?
said
over the course of an off season.
over the course of a couple
I was
seasons.
talking about that. So, unfortunately, looking at it realistically, unfortunately, Frank, Kevin, Mitch. Well, I'm not going to put Mitch in there. I'll just put in Frank and Kev. Unfortunately, those guys are going to suffer because, again, what we talked about, they're going to suffer. Mitch, RJ, and everybody else afterwards, Obi Toppin, quickly. Those guys are going to be are going to. How can I put it? I won't say be more taken care of, but they're going to be looked at more than Kevin and Frank. Maybe not Kevin, because he's showing he is showing strong productivity.
Knox is the best young player on the team
Yes,
this season.
right? Yes,
Most consistent.
yes. So you're going to put your time in to Kevin and put and give him all the tools that he needs more
To get better.
To get better.
Give me a sec, Kev. Them corner stuff. Let me establish some protocol. The Legion of Knicks podcast is in the building. Shout them out. Ladies, send some bottles over to them. Send the sparkly things y'all do now. We ain't do that back in the day. Send them sparklers over to him. The Legion of Knicks podcast is in the building. Go ahead, Corner Stove Kev. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know when VIPs head to their section,
you ever have to apologize, man? When do you ever have to apologize? Come on. You GI, man. You never have to apologize to me. Shoot, it's your world. Shoot. But what I was getting at was they see value in Kevin Knox. They see what his ability is and how they can refine it. Hey, they bring in Kenny Payne. They brought in Kenny Payne. They brung him in. They brung Brian in. So that tells you that they want to invest in what they have. And then if it doesn't work out, a la Dennis Smith Jr., if it's not working out, send him, with somebody like Kevin Knox, you just can't just, leave on the bench. And I'm hoping that they come to their senses and start this kid because he really needs to be out there.
I agree.
He really needs to be out there. We have to. I remember Coach Cutler Knox was saying how we're always getting these journeymen. Well, I consider Bullock, a lot of these guys journeymen. You're absolutely right. Knox should be in that starting lineup. There was no reason why he should have been out last year. There's no reason he shouldn't have been in the starting lineup last year. I mean, I know Morris was great, great for us and everything, but that was really, if we're talking about establishing a quote unquote core, he should have been starting. Mitch should have been starting. All that.
But Kevin's jump shot has gotten better. And hold on, let me establish some more protocol. Kaiser Soze 718 Brooklyn Zone is in the building. Ladies, send him some of them sparkly bottles. I learned this from the dude Tory Lanez during quarantine radio. Yo, send that man some spark. Only thing is I don't got the ladies behind me. My wife would probably put me out the house. But Coach Colorblast, what you got on this? Because I want to pivot before Freezy comes. Unless you want me to pivot now, it's up to you. I'm gonna give you a chance, but I want to talk about expectations the rest of the season. But go ahead.
Let me talk about development real quick, because I think there's something to add about that. Like, you brought up two scenarios about player development, and I think they're both right given the context. The rule of thumb for player development, especially at the pro level, is what you alluded to earlier about the lack of time. The only real player development you're going to see throughout a season for a player is a bunch of small things. So like Mitch is a good example of that this season. He's improved in a lot of small ways,
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
The fouling, he's making some reads on defense, small things, but he still has lapses. That's an appropriate expectation for player development throughout the course of a season. He's not going to magically you can't develop him during the season to be a double-double guy. It's just not the way it's going to work.
Right.
But you can develop him to, improve 5 minutes at a time. Think about it that way.
Okay.
5 minutes at a time.
Oh wait, Simma Singh is not the Sim y'all be talking about?
No, it's another Sim.
Oh, my bad. I ain't meet him yet then. My bad, Sim. Hey, listen, Sim. I walk around, people say, "Are you R. Kelly?" So, just roll with it. When somebody think you popular, you know what I mean? Roll with it. That's not a slight, you know what I mean? That's a positive thing.
Hey guys, real quick, I got to take my dog to the vet. So as soon as that's finished, I'm gonna try and get back on here. But again, if I don't come back on here again, Coach Colored Knox, please come back again. Your wisdom is unheralded. I always listen either to you or to our founder Sim. I always listen to Sim at
Appreciate that.
yeah, not nothing but Knicks. You guys know what you're talking about. I mean, everybody does, but you guys, from a coaching standpoint, you guys know what you're talking about. And I just love you. You love your work and everything. So I'm gonna try and get back. If not, please come back. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, GI.
All right, peace, ladies and gentlemen. The boss has entered the building. I see he doesn't have his mute button on.
No.
So please let me turn this show back over to the big dog, to the man himself, to the innovator, the one who made this possible for me to turn my big face on and stick it in the camera. Uncle Freeze, good morning. How you feeling, brother?
Yo, what's good?
What's good, Freezy?
What's good? Man, this lady was sticking me in the arm with a needle, and somebody was saying that RJ Barrett didn't have a skill. So I was trying to figure out which one hurt me the most, the big needle or the fact that somebody said RJ Barrett doesn't have skills.
So you gonna tell me you coming in hot? That's what you tell me, you coming in hot?
No, man, no. I'm whooped. I'm whooped. I'm coming in humble because I got like 3 needles, and somebody came in and said RJ Barrett doesn't have skills. So
I didn't say that.
So I didn't. I don't. So the RJ thing is about maybe he's a C+ player across the board in every skill. Is that what?
I just don't think he has an elite talent. I don't know what his one elite skill is.
Right.
Coach Cox, the question is, do you have a grade across? So give Freezy a basis to defend. Do you have a grade for him across the board?
Is he like a C- across the board?
He's like a C+, B- across the board right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a complete game. He's good at everything, but like I said, I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm saying I don't know what his one elite skill is that he can rely on all the time. Because if you look at all the similar slashes in the past 10 years, a guy like DeRozan had elite athleticism, was really good in the post, even though he couldn't shoot.
Right.
Jimmy Butler can't really shoot, but he's an elite defender and he really runs the floor pretty well. Paul Pierce couldn't jump over a phone book, but he was elite from the triple threat. He could shoot. There's a million ways you kind of look at it. A player needs an elite skill to fall back on, especially if they're a slasher or a 3-way scorer. I just don't know what his elite skill is. Like I said, he's good at everything. He's good at all 3 levels, but he's not elite at any of the 3 levels. So we got to see if it develops or if it means anything or nothing like that.
Yeah. You know what? The irony is, I agree with you with that assessment. I knew that probably since his days at Duke, that he didn't have one elite skill that he could show off in a pinch. Like what is RJ's go-to in a pinch, right? But I do think he has an elite trait. I think he has and when I say elite, I mean his elite trait might be top 3 in the NBA right?
You
And
saying he
so
has pedigree? You saying he has
no,
pedigree? Similar.
no, no, no. I think he has one elite trait, one
Oh, his alpha
personality
male
trait.
in him.
Right, and it's. I heard I was at a conference once in Miami, and a guy said um, he had people around him that could type upwards of 80 words a minute, right? 90 words a minute. And he had people that worked in his company that can answer 200 telephone calls in an 8-hour day, right? And so he looked around and he said, "Hey man, I'm talkative. I can't do 200 calls in one day. That's some type of skill, organization that most people don't have, right?" But he said the reason why he climbed up through the ranks of the company and is now the CEO, and they are still in that same area that they were when he started with the company, is he had this thing called will, right? A will and determination, where they had skills. He had a will and determination that he couldn't explain where he got it from, but he just knew, like coming up through the ranks, like when in kindergarten he wanted to have the most stars on his papers from the teacher, right? And so and just up through the ranks, like he wanted to have, the best of everything. He just wanted to beat everybody at everything, right? And so I think that is what RJ has, like that dude has. The dude talked to me after his talk. I mean, he and I talked in the bar for about an hour about that will and determination. And he was like, people can have many, many, many skills, right? But do they have determination and will? And that's why you look at some guys, you look at Kevin Knox and say, "Hey man, Kevin Knox has all these skills, man. If he ever put it together, such and such would happen." But does Kevin Knox have that will and determination to be that guy? And I think that's what RJ has. I think RJ is top 3 in the NBA with that.
So you saying RJ's a good locker room guy? I'm
No,
sorry, Coach Color
I'm saying in a matchup of LeBron James and RJ Barrett, LeBron James probably has the top 20, top 10 will and determination in the NBA, and probably is top 5 in skills. But RJ Barrett is probably top 3 in will and doesn't have all those skills.
I agree. I think like I said, I'm pro RJ. I'm not hating the kid at all.
No, we're not bashing. We're not bashing
Oh,
RJ.
oh yeah, no, we're not. This is not an RJ bash because I agree.
Yeah,
Because I think one thing that is really impressive about him is, I mean, the kid he was on like junior Canada basketball at like 12 years old.
yeah,
Like he's been playing in the spotlight. He's got the pedigree. He's got the acumen. He's got the family. He's got the connections. He's been playing pro ball internationally since he was like 14 years old. He went to Duke.
right.
Like that doesn't, and even when he put up the stinker against Indiana, and he didn't look phased. He was,
At all, right.
he didn't look. He was like, all right, I missed all my shots, but I'm ready to keep playing. And so that's the one thing that I think is going to keep him on the cusp of potentially still having room to be a great player.
Right.
And I agree with you. It's incredible how, like, he's only 20 years old. To have that kind of mindset is insane.
Right.
Well, It's Me said y'all he has a skill set that y'all miss. RJ, and I bet this year too, is top 3 at getting to the line. His strength is a skill. He is the strongest 20-year-old in the NBA. I noticed that in him last year, and I said this offseason he's only going to get stronger. But I have to ask you guys this, because y'all said y'all not RJ bashing, and neither am I. And today, Uncle Freezy, my mindset is about what's the expectations going forward. Not even too far forward. I'm willing to take it 10, 5, 20 games at a time. My mindset is what is the expectations? And then I have to ask y'all, how does this skill help the Knicks in the short and long term that RJ has? His will, how does that help us in the short and long term?
Well, I brought up leaders, right? And so I'm like, RJ's got the makeup to be one of those guys. He wants.
But you also said Jared Dudley too, though, is one of those guys. That's my
Oh yeah,
only thing.
oh yeah, sure. You know, but like I meant it as in terms of who's the guy who the team kind of falls back on. And I think RJ's showing it already in his second year. Like he wants to be that guy. And eventually the numbers will match out with the talent that the kid has, but there's a lot of potential for him to be the leader of this team.
Yeah, and so I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example of what I mean by RJ, right? So you have RJ Barrett versus, let's say, a Zion Williamson, right? So Zion walks around at 275 pounds and may be the most athletic player in the NBA, right? And he has skills that you don't see from a guy that's 6'6", 275 or 6'7", 275. Like he can make pocket passes with either hand. He has decent court vision. He has decent passing IQ. Like he knows when to throw a bounce pass, when to throw a alley-oop, when to throw a chest pass. You know what I'm saying? How to anticipate. And I'm not saying they're great. I'm saying that he just knows how to do it. Right? RJ Barrett has this thing that you wish everybody, just had, like this will and determination to be the very, very best at whatever it is that he does. You know what I'm saying? And so while we can't, while I can't tell you that RJ Barrett is going to be a 40 percentage, 40% 3-point shooter, I will tell you that RJ Barrett will work hard. You know what I'm saying? At that. And if it comes, it comes, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But you won't have to question if he ever worked on it.
So the problem I have, unfortunately, is with RJ is not RJ, because shout out to Fox Tree. You can't see the chat, so I want to show the chat some love for you. It sounds like you're driving, so I want to shout out to I'm sorry, Foy Trey, and his is almost the comment of the day as we speak to RJ. RJ absolutely is a one move. His euro and the amount of ground he covers with his euro is probably, I would love to measure. You remember how they used to do those measurements? ESPN used to show how much time, or they show it with Giannis, how much space Giannis covers. I'm telling you, RJ is up there with the elites because he can pick up his ball, he cuffs it. When he cuffs the ball, nobody's ripping that from him. And he just keeps his body going to the rim. Once you reach in the NBA, you're in trouble. They call that now. They don't let you hand check. Once you reach, the problem is this: the system that RJ has played in under 3 different coaches now is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that's what's leading to RJ's struggle. RJ must have a spread floor to where there's maybe maybe he has to take on. RJ has taken on 3 defenders this year going to the rim, probably more than any player in the NBA. And that's just not going to lead to high results. So until we could get some elite shooting and great ball handling about RJ, I think this is the player we're going to see for some time. And that's why I want to set expectations today, because we could project what we think players are going to become.
Right.
But until they get in that system, until they get those players around them, RJ, we could say he's got Mamba mentality, but he's not Kobe. He's not LeBron. He's not Jordan. He's none of those guys. He's none of these elite scorers, but he has a trait. He has some of what LeBron has. And there used to be a time when LeBron went to the hole like a Mack truck before he got his little jumper going. His whole game was going. It used to be with half court game. We used to say down the stretch, he says it's got to be a half court game. LeBron get that ball and get all the way to the court. He get an and one and he shoot a free throw. And they used to lose some games because he would miss his free throw. So then they started fouling him. But RJ's a better free throw shooter. But I think in the system under 3 coaches that RJ has had, he just can't show his true skill set.
I'll tell you what. I think that there's one thing that will set our argument on its ear. For either side, like what Coach Colorbox said about the skills and stuff, and with me talking about the will and stuff, I think there's one adjustment that if it's made, RJ Barrett's a superstar, right? And that's if RJ gets calls going to the basket, right? If RJ Barrett gets calls going to the basket, so we watched. So we watched. You remember the Indiana game, that we won when Victor Oladipo went to the basket. All you had to do was wave at Oladipo and he was getting calls, and it frustrated everybody, right? But RJ Barrett would go to the basket and get mugged, and he wouldn't get a call because it looked as if he initiated the contact, right? So I'm not saying that this is a blatant disrespect to the Knicks, but what I am saying is that I saw with my own eyes RJ Barrett get mugged 2 or 3 times. The most egregious is Joel Embiid coming across his back and putting his hands in his mouth and raking RJ's mouth, and he had his fingers inside of RJ's mouth, and they didn't call it while RJ Barrett fell out of bounds. That's egregious, and for you not to get a call like that on any level is egregious, right? But so what I'm saying is RJ, if RJ gets more calls, keep going to the basket. Finally get. I'm not saying go to the line 11 or 12 times a game, but if he gets at least half of what he's due, then I think you see a different player.
Well,
I think you see other things open up.
Well, I think part of it part of the reason he doesn't get calls is because he looks for contact.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but if we want, I can dig into the numbers a little bit.
Right.
Right. RJ does not shoot well from the basket.
Right.
And so he's like just about average from the free throw line.
Right.
And so those two things don't coincide with each other. If you're gonna play for contact and play aggressively and look for calls and go into the hoop, you need to be able to finish those takes.
Right.
And you need to be able to convert from the line. And so I'm talking to chat. I'm talking to chat because people are like, well,
Holds are looking for contact, right?
Yeah, and so it's like I can't think of a elite slasher player, an elite, like not even elite, like right below elite. I can't think of an elite slasher who shot or shoots or shot as poorly as RJ does from the field or from the charity stripe.
Right.
So that he needs to work on his finishing. If he starts finishing, because he misses easy layups.
Yes.
Right, that like you can't be a slasher who misses easy layups because then you'll never get the calls. And if you don't get the calls, you won't convert from the line. It snowballs.
Right.
And so like that's my beef with him. I'm like, I need him to convert the 2-pointers from close to the basket. If you do the comparisons stat wise, the DeRozans, the Jimmy Butlers, they're at least at 50% or above on 2-point shots. RJ is one of the only few slashers in the league who's below that. And he's shooting 40% from the field. Not even Iverson shot that bad from the field.
Right.
So I'm like, there's some things he has to work on as a player to get what we think he can do. If he finishes 2 more layups a game, he's a 20-point a game scorer.
Right.
Like that's how close he is to being that good. If he finishes 2 more layups a game, he's a 20-point a game scorer. And so
guys, I'm sorry. Can I establish some protocol? Ladies, bring some bottles to Bodega Wi-Fi. Bodega Wi-Fi is in the building. Salute to you, man.
What's good? What's good, Bodega Wi-Fi? What's good? Hey, I'm gonna jump off this phone and jump on the computer. I'll be right back, y'all.
All right, go ahead, Coach. Pick up where you are. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I'm just saying, like, he gets to the rim. He understands one thing that, all right, elite skill that RJ has, I got it. I actually figured out what one of his elite skills is. I've never seen a player this young understand angles this well in offense. He is incredible at understanding angles, and he knows how to play off of defenders. He knows how to play off their hips. He knows how to play off someone who's playing their defensive stance wrong. He understands angles on like the secondary break. He understands how to come off screens. He's like elite at understanding angles on offense. But then he's got to finish that layup. Like he gets into the spots. But if you don't finish it, well, you're not really a slasher. I can't think of a slasher historically who can't finish at the hoop. You're not really a slasher at that point. That's my whole RJ thing. We can move on, but like I said, I think we're being we have high expectations of this kid because I think we all like him.
But before Freezy comes in, because I know he sets up for every show, That's why he kind of doesn't go crazy on the Knicks at night. He lets them do their thing. The Knicks at night is like the raw emotions. We try to like tap into the fans on the morning show, little calmer. We don't have adult beverages. We have blondes, orange tears because we don't promote alcoholism on this show. We don't want you drinking at night and drinking in the morning. Then you have a problem. Coach, what are your expectations for the season based upon the mold that you see? And then what would you like to see going forward the rest of the season?
I just want this franchise, top to bottom, to trend upwards for once. That's it. No playoffs, nothing like that. I just want us to trend positively. I think we haven't trended positively in the past 5 or 6, 7 years, almost a decade even. That's it. From players on the court to coaching to moves we make to draft picks we make, I just want to see the franchise trend upward for once.
So Kaiser, he don't need to learn to sell it like LeBron. He just needs to watch Quickly. And Quickly is one of the best of the games at selling the foul. So last season we hired Fizz as the development coach. I understand the T word is a bad word, and the NBA has pulled it out of any smart fans out of their dictionary, right? It's a term they shouldn't use anymore. But if you play the right guys on the court, the rest will take care of itself. Fizz was supposed to be the development coach. Fizz went out there and tried to turn Randall into baby LeBron James, which would have then meant he would make everybody around him better, and then we would win. The problem is Randall wasn't crazy. Randall said these guys can't do it, so I'm going to go do it myself. He got under Coach Fizz, and this is the biggest thing I give Fizz props for. It's for fixing Randall. And in fact, that's probably his number one. They will say, hey, he fixed Randall. Somehow, some way, he fixed Randall. Because Randall was the same way under Mike Miller, even though the team was getting a little better under Mike Miller. But God bless Mike Miller. I don't blame him. If you just tap me on my shoulder one day as I'm on my way to my car to go home and have dinner with my wife and kids, you say, hey, by the way, you're the coach of the New York Knicks. I'm going home and go to sleep, and I'm saying, I'm going to get the fans what they want. I'm going to keep this job. I went from being a career assistant to head coach. I'm going out to try to win games. Development. I'm not going for no development. You tell me I could go in there with the players and all of the resources and do my thing. Even though he was set up for the short term, I'm going to try to win. I'm going to get me a next gig if they don't want to keep me. I'm going to try to prove to them that they should keep me. Mike Miller did what he was supposed to do. God bless you, King. I don't understand. I'm saying I'm not a smart person as it comes to projecting the player, what he could do with the system, and what his ceiling is. That's not what I do for a living. I don't watch AAU ball like you guys, and even a lot of you guys in AAU ball, y'all don't get it right because you can't determine what's in between the players' ears. Y'all can see his talent, but you don't determine what's in between his ears. Y'all, that I know nobody can accept.
Yo, he back.
What up, baby?
He's back.
So for me, I want to see the young guys play. If we're gonna lose games, I don't want to see us lose games. All right, hold on. I'll give it back to you. You gave me the show, so that's why I said let me hurry up and get it in before you come back. If we're gonna lose games, man, I want to see the young guys lose games. I don't want to go out there seeing guys who should get it done at this level in the NBA, who should be able. If we're going to lose games, I'd rather see the young guys lose games. Let me fall back in the protocol because not only am I a leader, I'm a follower. So Uncle Freezy, take the show over because that's what I said to Coach Color Blocks. I said, I'm sure he has an agenda. He doesn't get too involved at night. So I'm sure that's when he's writing the agenda for the morning. The night is the emotional crew. The morning we tend to be, you know what I mean, a little more on the agenda, a little bit on the facts, and we get to better analyze the game without fresh emotions.
Hey, everyone's got their Meet the Press voice on right now.
The morning show, like I said, I told them, Freezy, the night show they drink adult beverages. In the morning we drink Blonde Yards tea because we don't promote alcoholism on the show. If you drink it at night and the morning, you got a problem. So, Freezy, welcome back. I did your intro already. The show is yours, King.
Hey. So, how did y'all like the intro music?
Loved it. It cut off quick though. You didn't get to do it from home. It cut off quick.
Hey, chat. I want to play it one more time. Not just to intro the show, but just to get a vibe for what for what's going on. Let me see if I can find it. All right, let me see. All right, I just want to get. I'm working on some intro stuff too. Not just this plain thing. I'm just gonna play it real quick and see what y'all think.
I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My family's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Yo, so my man does this, and not trying to push it down anybody's throat or whatever, but I chose that as the intro for the joint because the lyrics on it kind of spoke to me, and the beat, in my opinion, was something that you want to lead off a show with.
That was bars. That was bars. The beat is wicked. That is, he got the papoose flow a little bit, little papoose flow, but clean. Clean, conscious, intellectual rap. I love it.
Yeah, and so it comes from a place from somebody that wasn't that before and learned some life lessons and tightened up and became a man. You know what I'm saying? And so for those of us that have been through that thing, like as a young man, you used to do whatever it is you felt like was big and bold enough to do, and then some stuff happened to you personally. And you correct yourself and become a man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what my man is, you know what I'm saying, was trying to spit there. And then plus there was some.
His name was Divine Music?
No. So the vocalist that you heard, his name is Dan Johns. Like Dan and Johns, right? And so you can find some of his stuff on YouTube and such. But I felt like it's the perfect joint to intro for GI and the Prince Bun in the mornings. Like, come on to something that's going to get you in that mindset to talk competition, but at the same time, be in a mindset that, we're going to present intellectual thought, deep thinking, some philosophy, something like that about these Knicks, because you can't just think basic Knicks. You can't have a conversation with somebody just talking basic Knicks. You can't just be like, well, Alfred Payton can't shoot. You can't talk to somebody like that for 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? So,
yo, you are the subliminal. You are the subliminal kid, yo. Yeah.
Nah, for real, seriously, because imagine we get on here and talk 4 hours about Alfred Payton can't shoot. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? We want to have everybody contribute to the conversation, and then move the points around the board so we can get different perspectives of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because
attention. Freezy is petty. Y'all better pay attention.
Nah, man. I'm saying if having a different perspective on one topic is just basically rocking with somebody else's point of view, at least for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't agree, you can at least respect that somebody else can think for themselves. Because I think the reason why we do this joint here is because we've been force fed by the media a lot of narratives over the years. A lot of narratives. You forcing me to think a certain way because this is all I have to think about. We don't want to do that. That's why we invite everybody into the conversation. So for instance, like Coach Colorblocks and myself, we may think about something a little different, but it's not because, you know, I don't disagree out of disrespect for a thing. Was just trained to think a certain way, and I want to think about things, you know what I'm saying, for a certain point of view. And then when he makes his point, then I'm like, you know what? Well, man's got a point. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why we do this Knicks Morning Drive and the Knicks at Night podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to get into my KRS-One bag. Like, are you a philosopher? Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. When it comes to this Knicks stuff,
Oh, that beat is crazy.
Yeah. Which beat?
Devon, what's his name?
Devon. Oh, so it's a song called "Invisible People" by Devon Sons.
Devon. Oh yeah, that's what I said. You said Robert Johns or something like that.
Yeah. Dan Johns. He's the first guy that you heard rapping. So it spoke to me. It spoke to me, like the Invisible People title spoke to me because there are certain groups of NBA fans that get no love, and I think that's us. I think we are kind of like that. So I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but what I do want to get deep into is
Kaiser said he wanted to use that for the night show. Ether's got to be for the night show.
Yeah. Hey. So now Foxy's got a joint. Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw the intro Foxy put together. I kind of like that one too. The one with the moving Hollywood lights and the music. Man, look. Every time I tap it, I'm like, yo, Foxy did his thing. Because it presents a different, a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? To me, it presents that welcome to Hollywood perspective at night. Welcome in those. But anyways, let me ask y'all this. So, what are we more upset about as a Knicks fan? What are we more upset about? Are we more upset that the Brooklyn Nets stomped us with a half behind roster with one superstar and a whole bunch of dudes? Or are you more upset that the Brooklyn franchise does whatever it takes to make the right moves to be competitive and the Knicks don't?
I'll go first. I'm more upset that we lost last night to a depleted Brooklyn roster with KD on back-to-back after sitting out for 14 weeks. I do not think the Brooklyn Nets are making the right move by getting rid of everybody who's made them relevant. Remember, if the Knicks became this, I would be a disappointed fan because the very guys who made the Nets relevant, they got rid of. If Spencer Dinwiddie was there, not hurt, he would have been gone too.
Yeah.
So the guys who came together, believed in the organization, and made the Nets relevant, they traded for 3 fancy models. They just did this not too long ago. This is not sustainable. They've given away their draft picks from now to Kingdom Come.
Right.
And when if we draft right, because you got to draft right. We had that conversation.
Right.
So I am not upset about the move that the Brooklyn Nets made, and there's still no guarantee they'll win the championship. So I'm more upset we lost to a depleted team.
I'm very frustrated that we lost to a depleted team. And for the record, it's making me lose faith in Tom Thibodeau. Right.
Words on my mouth.
Yep. So it's frustrating me more and more every day, every game. And you know, as we go along, we see things like random bench guards play us and eat. That frustrates me for one, right? So so the Gary Harris. So Gary Harris wasn't a random bench guard, but at the same time, he's not the focal point of the Nuggets offense, right? So when I see guys like Gary Harris score like 15, 16, 17, 20, 23 points, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing out here? What's the purpose? What's our goal this year? What is this Knicks team looking to accomplish? Is what I'm asking myself. You know what I'm saying? Are we looking to develop young guys, or are we looking to establish a culture? Are we looking to make the franchise look appealing to free agents? Or are we looking to have the coaching staff gel and maybe come up with a blueprint for what we want to do next year? Is that what we're looking at? Because when you look at how our team plays, it's a model of inconsistency. And I listen, and I know inconsistency is going to come when you have a sport that's built on randomness. Like, a guy's not going to come out and shoot 15 for 15 from the 3-point line. We know that. These things are going to be random. Like, he may be, 5 for 10 one night and 2 for 10 the next night. So we know it's random, right? So I'm not getting into that point. The point I want to get into is what we're doing consistently. What are we teaching consistently? What does our effort look like consistency? Like, for instance, can this grinder of a coach have guys be consistent, knowing these guys are going to be fatigued and tired? They're going to be fatigued some nights and fresh other nights. Do you get the same consistency? Do you get some type of Julius Randle can score you 25 points a night with him being tired one night, him being fresh one night? Those type things bother me. And the defensive mindset, man, are you serious? Are you serious? So Thibodeau looks like a one-trick pony right now. It's frustrating me because our narrative before last night's game was, well, Tom Thibodeau's a defensive-minded head coach. And when we were holding teams under 100 points, right? But what are we doing now? Can Tom Thibodeau adjust, or has the game passed him by? I don't want to sound super negative, y'all. I don't want to sound super negative. So SJ3, I see you. Bodega Wi-Fi, I see you. Chef NYK, I see you. Kaiser Sose, I see you. Stephen Foxy, I see you. At Trader, I see you. I'm not looking to be negative. I just have a question. I just want to throw those questions out there and see if y'all can help me, get past some of these weird questions that I have. Hey, salute to y'all too, man. Hey, Muhammad Thomas, I see you. So I have a lot of questions. I'm not the realist or the pessimist. I'm still the optimist. I have questions so that I could throw fuel on my optimism.
I mean, you basically took the words out of my mouth. You were gone earlier, and I was talking to Intellect. I basically said the same thing,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I said the same exact thing. And honestly, my answer to your question is 70% the former, 30% the latter. I'm 70% mad about the way we showed out last night, or didn't show out, I guess.
Right.
And 30% mad about the Brooklyn thing, because you already said the 70% part. But the Brooklyn thing is interesting because they've only had one draft pick in the past decade because they've traded them all away.
Right.
And that one draft pick was Jared Allen, who also got traded away as well.
Right.
And in that decade, they've been infinitely more successful and relevant than we have.
Right.
And so that question does have to be asked. Are we overrating draft picks?
Great question.
Because they didn't care. Because they're gonna get Harden.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. So Are you saying because I just want some clarity on it? So you're asking the question: are they overrating draft picks, right? And my question is: are you asking if they're overrating the pick itself, which is a person, or the draft pick that gives them the potential to draft somebody, the asset?
Both.
Wow, that's interesting.
Because and note in chat, Levert was the Indiana pick. No, it's just like we're overrating them. We're overrating these picks. Everyone is like the Dallas pick, but we have so much capital. Well, first, no team who hoards draft picks keeps the draft picks.
Right.
That's the first thing. The Celtics had 1 million picks. They don't keep them all. They package them for other stuff. So let's just like establish that. Like you'd never like draft 10 people in the same draft. You never do that.
Right.
Because bringing in one player is a huge deal, let alone 3 or 4. Like you'll never do that. And then secondly, I had this talk weeks ago, but I was like, if you look at the players who have won NBA titles in the past modern NBA, 15, 20 years, you need one guy and then 2 other ones who help out.
Right.
And if you have a chance to get that guy who's established in the NBA, you go and get him versus playing this. Well, it's called a lottery for a reason. You're basically playing the slots and hoping you hit on one of those guys.
Right.
And we can also say in the history of top guys in the NBA, they're not all top 10 picks, you know? They can be anywhere in the draft. and that could be your guy. And so I'm like, if the chance to get a guy is there to get him, you get him.
Right.
You get him. I don't think the Clippers are sweating the picks they gave up for Paul George. I don't agree with that trade, but they're not sweating it.
Right.
I don't think Milwaukee is sweating the picks they gave up for, was it Bledsoe or whatever, or no, not Bledsoe, Holiday. I don't think they're sweating it.
No.
I don't think the Nets are really sweating it. Yeah, we put too much capital on players that we don't. I'm playing the theoretical game. If we trade Julius Randle away for a pick, what are the odds, chat, that we draft a player who produces the same way Julius Randle does?
Right.
So it's just like, it's like what. It's how you end up stuck in mediocrity, is just hoping to bank on a draft.
Right.
So yeah, I think that there's something to be said about that. Like they're not sweating it, and they've been more successful and have more NBA cultural capital than we have. So yeah, give me and then one last thing, like even bringing it back to the Melo trade, it's like we got lambasted for that, but it's like aside from Jamal Murray, nothing really happened with the assets we gave up.
So
I agree.
So,
right, like Chandler was like a solid player. Wilson Chandler was a solid player. Gallinari is like a solid, good player.
So you had 2 last things, coach.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, but you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it didn't really mean much.
So I have no problem trading all this draft capital to get a star now. But for me, it has to be a star that fits our timeline. So you could say it makes sense for Brooklyn because they already had 2 30-plus-year-old stars.
Right.
So adding a 31, another third, giving up the future for another one to make sure, because Brooklyn was already all in.
Right.
To be all in and find some extra. Let's say you all in with your cash and somebody goes down. You're like, no, but this is the hand I got. I want to go all in. You know what I got? I got the keys to the Lamborghini in my pocket. I'm throwing that up. That keeps me in the game. That might make sense if you really believe in your hand that's already all in. For us, you want to go all in for a 30-plus-year-old player? Then you got to build around him. Now you done gave up assets. You won't have nothing. That's what happened with Melo. Even though Melo had more in the tank, I didn't think about the assessment why I was wrong on Melo, why I give up projecting players, is because I thought Melo was at the end of his career. I didn't know he had 3-4 more years of playing high-level ball. Had he did, I would have said, okay, let's go all in for Melo, and then it would have made sense. So for me, it's about let's go all in, but that player today for the Knicks has to be 26 years old or less. If he's 30 years old and he's going to be the only star, for me, we're going to end back up in the Melo situation. Let me say one other thing about the Julius Randle trade, because only me and Joe Madden said. I promise this is my one last thing. Trade Julius Randle for a draft pick. You now have 3. You can get higher in the draft if you use those 3 to get one.
Right. Hey, let me do this real quick. Kaiser Sose, thanks for the super chat. He says, seems like Freezy coming over to the realistic crew. No, I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist.
We always got to be optimists. We always got to be optimists. I mean, for every negative thing, you've got to find something positive, and you can't. If you keep living in negativity, your life will be negative. You will always think down. You will be the Eeyore of life. Right. You know what Eeyore is like? Eeyore is always looking at the
Eeyore is like, here we go again.
Exactly. You can't. So me and Freeze, we're probably like and I know there's a few others. We're probably like the most optimistic people out there.
We're like the Tiggers.
Yeah, exactly. We're like the Tiggers, Absolutely. The one thing I just caught on to what Color Knox was saying about draft picks. Let me indulge a little bit. What Brooklyn did with getting Garnett, Pierce, and I forget who else was included in there.
They did 2 trades. They did that trade to get those 2, and then they did a separate trade to get Darren Williams.
Okay, and then they gave Boston all those picks. 2 of those picks turned out to be Jaylen Brown and
Green
and Tatum.
Oh, right. Sorry.
But again, but the thing with that, Knox, you had an organization that was established and that was that had some brains.
Right. No, it's true. It's true. Like I said, if you draft Tatum to the Celtic, if you draft Tatum to the Kings, he's not Jason Tatum.
Right.
Exactly. So I guess what I'm getting at is I'm glad, again, I got to tip my hat off to this organization not throwing money or not doing anything stupid, because we know Mills and all of them would have done that. Hey, Christ, Mills was going to give Morris a long-term contract last year.
Right. Right.
So we got to, kind of keep things, in perspective. If we gave all of our draft capital and picks and whatever to Houston just for Harden for what, about maybe what's 2 years? For 2 years?
2 years left on his contract.
2 years left on his contract. We'd have been eaten up alive, because we're no closer to a championship with that, with him, than we are with what we have. That's what I'm saying. Keep building. That's all you can do. You just got to keep building. I mean, we're not Sacramento that keeps, drafting and nothing's coming out of it. Pretty much. We have an organization now. With the development team that'll get these young guys to where we're supposed to be. That's all I'm saying with that. But in Brooklyn's case, they were more closer to that works out for them. They're more closer to getting a championship than we ever will be. But maybe, I don't think I can't even give a how many years we'll be close. I mean, we're trying to mend the pieces to becoming respectable. Right. So where Brooklyn right now, it's them or nothing. And right. no one as much as me wants to see them fail, because we are New York. They are Brooklyn. They are New Jersey.
Right. I feel you.
I think so. I have a response to that, because I've been stuck on both sides of it, right? if you do hoard draft picks, I brought up the stat on Legion's podcast. The Sacramento Kings, minus this year, they're doing okay this year. Minus this year, they've had, I think, 14 top 10 picks in the past 15 years.
Yeah.
And they've also not made the playoffs in 15 years.
Yeah.
And then on the other flip side of that, you know, the biggest cautionary tale I could think of is the process, right?
Right.
Trust the process, trust the process. Minus Simmons and Embiid, who hate each other, they struck out on everything.
Yeah.
Because you
Everything.
can't, because
We got
you,
one of theirs too. And we got one of theirs too in New
right,
Orleans.
that's what I'm saying. You can't bank for Markelle Fultz having what happened to Markelle Fultz.
Right.
You can't plan for the league changing play style when they drafted Jaleel Okafor.
Mhm.
You can't plan for these things. And so hindsight is 2020, but it's like you can't plan for Michael Carter Williams flaming out the league.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Forgot
these
about
things
him. Yeah.
these things just happen. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, okay, the other thing is we hoard a bunch of picks, and then someone brought up timeline. I forgot who it was.
Yeah.
So just to sort of play devil's advocate there, let's say we do the timeline game and we hoard a bunch of draft picks. Well, we just established earlier in this podcast that players don't develop at the same rate. So now we got to play the game.
That's not what I said, though.
No, I'm talking about time. I'm saying timeline.
No, he
Yeah, I
said
said timeline on who you're going to sell those draft picks for.
Oh, no,
I
no,
agree we should sell the draft picks.
No.
I didn't say, but I just wouldn't do it for Harden. So what you're saying is not a response. You can say what you say. It's just not a response to what I said. Go ahead.
Oh no, I meant like in regards to just talking about timeline, not what you said. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
In regards to just timeline, if you hoard a bunch of draft picks, well, those players don't develop on the same time. So that's a whole nother set of timeline stuff you got to deal with. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah. But again, hey Mo, how you doing?
That's a whole nother set of timeline stuff. Someone's echoing.
Yeah, someone's echoing. Mo, I think you might be echoing real quick. But what I was getting at is you're totally right, Coach. You players don't develop at the same time. They don't develop at the same time. I mean, we could take the Boston thing. I think I can go on a limb and say that Tatum developed quicker than what Jaylen Brown did.
right. Okay.
You know, so
And Marcus Smart.
right.
Don't forget Marcus Smart.
You
Because
can't.
what we do with the Boston comp, we always say Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Don't forget Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart was a top 10 pick.
Very integral.
And he didn't develop into what they thought he was going to develop into. He became something else.
Yes, exactly. And I think he took, maybe 4 years as well, 4 or 5 years as well, until he settled in. See, some people just have it right then and there. And for some people, it just takes time, unfortunately. And for us, we have the time. Where are we going? We got, we got to developing. But the thing, again, I'm going to go back to this management team. They will make the right decision when you want to pull that big time trade, when you want to get that, that player that we're looking at. Go ahead, G.I. Go ahead.
We can't trust that the management team will make the right decision, but I will say
I
this.
agree.
The NBA rules on trading number one picks make me comfortable that if there's the right player on the right timeline for this organization's mindset, they got to set the expectations. That's why today I'm only speaking about everything that's going to come out of my mind and out of my mouth is expectations. So if there is the right player and when we get them at the right time,
right,
then I'm comfortable giving up draft picks because they're every other year.
Right.
And then in that off year, I've got to get a player that matches in because the salary cap has only been so much. And then if you do get a superstar player, it's the only way you're going to get other players that like him to come to the door.
I
don't know, man. I think I might be a little bit different.
Let's be realistic. Right now, years down the road, we want a player that's going to match up with, that's going to complement Mitch, RJ, Obi.
No. I'm sorry. I got to go back to Uncle Freezer because if you get that player, you may have to give them up. We can't be tied to nobody who's on this roster now because we have no stars. And
I
that
agree.
I agree with Coach Colorblind.
But we have a
Everybody
core. We
on
have a
to
core.
last night's roster
But we have a
is
core.
subject to trade for
I
a proven
okay.
star.
That's
Okay,
where
because
that's
well,
me
they
and you
might.
disagree. That's where
Okay.
me and you differ.
Okay.
That's where me and you
I'm
differ.
fine with that.
Because
I'm fine with that.
again, like my name Cornerstone, I consider Mitch, I consider RJ, I consider Obi, and I consider Quickly. I don't know if I'm ready to throw Kevin in there yet, but those four I consider our core. Now we can pick, we can keep out of those four. We can pick and we could keep. But as a base, as a foundation, I consider those four our core.
So like my thing about team building, you need to have players like those guys in those spots. You have to have guys in those spots who have rookie contracts. Like rookie contracts that don't take up cap space, because it's important. Like, so if you look at the Lakers had Kuzma. Like, you got a guy in the rotation who's not taking up cap space, so that you can spend money on a player who can take you somewhere. Like,
Right.
because we don't have to say that RJ is somebody that we have to build around. We don't have to say that Mitch is somebody that we have to build around. But like you said, we have to pick some of those players. And because one or two of those players need to be important to our future, because like in the near future, we won't have to pay them. Well, Mitch, I think his contract's coming up, so we gotta pay him. But like, It would be so great if RJ could be a guy that we don't have to like pay in the next like 2 years, and he'll be like averaging 20 points a game. Like a guy like that averaging 20 points a game and not paying him like, you know, tens of millions of dollars. Like, it'd be so great for our team building.
Yeah.
I would say, let me say this. I just want to get this on wax so that we can remember what Uncle Freezy said about conversations like this one. I admire Knicks fans for wanting to do, you know, build their building from scratch. The Knicks want to go get their own stones. They want to get the architect to draw up their own building. They want to get their own steel. You know what I'm saying? You want to get operations on the inside to have your building be not only be structurally sound, but functioning once that building opens. Not Uncle Freezy though. Not Uncle Freezy. I'm gonna tell you what I want. The only thing I want is a championship, right? I don't care how we get it. We don't have to win a championship with style. Like, oh my God, do you remember that team that came together and the storyline was so great? RJ finally developed a 3-point shot, and Kevin Knox finally started dunking on people at the rim, and Mitchell Robinson started shooting threes. I don't care. I'll take those draft picks right. I'll tell you what. I'll take all 13 of those draft picks that we have right going in the future, and I'll trade them for De'Aaron Fox, for Spider Mitchell, and Brandon Ingram, and those will be our cornerstones. And people will say, well, man, you got De'Aaron Fox, Spider Mitchell, and Brandon Ingram, but you don't have any draft picks. So what? So what? You know what I'm saying? Well, and I know that sounds contradictory with what I've been saying. But the thing is I agree with Cornerstone Kev, but I disagree with the way that you accumulate your talent. If I could get De'Aaron Fox and Spider Mitchell and Brandon Ingram using those draft picks, what do I need draft picks for?
That's different. That's different.
Can I ask something what Freezy said real quick?
Go ahead.
Sorry, just real quick. If you look at the past decade of NBA champions, all those teams are a mix of what Freezy said. Some teams did it through the draft. Some teams did it by free agency. Some teams did it by getting a superstar. Some teams did it by trades. The point is that they all took different paths to get there, but the point is that they won a title. So every path is essentially viable. Right. And just to add that to Freezy, like there's a wide variety of how these teams got their titles.
But all of those teams did have somebody that they drafted. Like
Not
we
all-
have
not-
to have
Not
somebody.
the Lakers.
Not the Lakers.
Not
Not
The
the
Lakers
Lakers.
don't.
Lakers is the
Kuzma's
only
not a
one.
big part
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But-
No, he's right.
Kuzma
He's right.
barely got
No,
minutes.
no, he's right. He's right. He's right. Mo is right. Yeah, Kuzma was their draft pick. He's
You
right.
need that
Kuzma
guy.
didn't get-
You need
Listen,
that guy.
But Kev, let me say this, Kev.
You can't say
Kev, let me say
Kuzma
this.
was a homegrown
He
player that
wasn't
won
a
the title.
piece. But Kev, let me say this.
He won the
But
title.
hold on, before that,
Go
before we
ahead,
have
go ahead, Gi. Go ahead, Gi.
Kev, I just said the same thing. You said that's different. I just said if those stars are young and on the same timeline,
Yeah.
then you the house to go and get them. You said you disagree. Freezy said you said that's different.
I disagree. Well, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to disagree. No,
You
I
said that's
apologize.
different.
I
What
apologize.
Freezy said, give me Fox, Spider, and that's what I said.
Okay, yeah,
I said if
those
we're gonna
guys.
use the I
Yeah,
said
okay.
any
Okay, so those guys are different. And the reason why I say that because I'm so thinking about no, Gi, feel me out. Those guys haven't entered their prime yet. Those guys have not. Darren Fox, Spider, I'm gonna throw Ingram in there. But players like your LeBrons, like your James Hardens, like your Durant and all them, they're going past their prime. So that's why I'm saying I wouldn't do. That's what I would not do. But
and
some
Kyle,
I
of those
said
guys,
26. I
but-
said
but-
26.
But Kyle Kuzma. But listen. So to the point that y'all made, Kyle Kuzma was not drafted by the Lakers. He was drafted by the Brooklyn Nets and
But-
traded.
but he
and
never
traded.
yeah, but the premise is that he still went to the Lakers. He didn't play one game for Brooklyn.
Okay.
Like, we need to draft guys that will be on that team. Like whatever that championship team is, we gotta have some guys that we draft.
But Mo,
all those.
Mo, I'm just asking you: do you trust the New York Knicks organization with their track record of draft day selections? Do you trust them to draft you a championship contender?
We got our center. Our center. We have our center.
Yes.
Mitch is gonna be our center. But
He's a double-double.
All he has to do is add a little bit more weight. That's our center right there.
No, it's
But
not.
what I want him to do is develop a hook shot, either a hook shot or a little baby jumper. That's all he needs to do. He's got everything else. Defensively, he's got everything else.
I want to say this about Kuzma. If they could trade Kuzma tomorrow for the right thing,
I'll do it.
his tail will be out of there. And Mo,
absolutely.
he's no longer on his rookie contract. The man got paid.
Yeah.
So that doesn't
last year he was
he got paid.
So the thing about being on a rookie contract, like with bird rights, you're able to go over the cap, the salary cap.
So Mo, slow down a second though. If you trade for these guys, and in the right trade, you acquire the bird rights, and then you can go. You have to fill out your roster, so they got to give you bird rights. The Nets got 3 very expensive players. They're going to fill out their roster. They're going to be able to go over, and that's one thing you can't knock going on. If he could get 3 players like that, he didn't spend more money for more players because he could go over the cap. He would pay a luxury tax that Michael Jordan will go out and get another Benz for, because Michael Jordan is the welfare owner. He loves luxury tax. Luxury tax is how he balances his books, but that's another conversation.
When was the last time you paid?
Make that trade.
When was the last time you paid luxury tax?
Probably the Marbury era.
My God.
So the thing about what my man Gi said, and it makes sense, is so you keep bird rights, but also in those trades, in the right situation, you create a trade exception that you don't have to use in that trade, but you can use in other trades. But what I was saying to Kev is I agree with Kev's premise. I just don't agree with the acquisition part totally. Like, I legit don't trust the Knicks to draft anybody. Every time the draft comes up, I'm like, oh, watch we draft Clee Anthony early. Clee Anthony early has been dropping
Anthony
down the board. He was supposed to get picked. He was supposed to get picked at 15.
My God.
He was supposed to get picked at 15, and now we in the 40s. Watch the Knicks pick him.
Salute to Ron. Man.
Right. Clee Anthony early was supposed to get drafted 15, and we picking in the 40s. Watch we Clee Anthony early to the Knicks.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh my God,
man.
Really? And so Kristaps Porzingis is like, yo, hey man, this kid Luka is the truth. I'm telling y'all, don't go by what these dudes say. I've been in the NBA. We need to trade up and get Luka. And Frank Ntilikina is like a couple of days later, is like, yeah, Porzingis is right. We need to trade up to get this kid Luka.
Yeah, but crazy. That's crazy though. How is we supposed to trade up to get Luka though? That's just easier said than done.
Well, no. Oh, okay. So how has Kevin Knox and RJ Barrett worked out? Would you trade RJ Barrett and Kevin Knox for Luka Doncic?
No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not a response. That's not a response to the comment I made. Trading up to get Luka, you make it seem like it was reasonable, and I understand that's what KP wanted, but it wasn't reasonable.
No, it's not reasonable to a Knicks fan that has never had assets like the assets that we have right now, right? You know what I'm saying? So to a Knicks fan, you're like, yo, these assets, we've never had them before, and they're precious. So we can't just trade them to take a flyer on a kid named Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Because if we swing and miss, we may not ever be in a situation to get these draft picks again.
Okay, so here's where you can question the Knox pick. Here's where you can question that, because two slots further than him. I don't know if it's like a slot or 2 slots further than him. The Phoenix, Philly had picked up Mikal Bridges and then flipped him over to Phoenix.
Right.
And I think we can all on this panel and in the chat can agree that Mikal Bridges has had a better career than Kevin Knox has. You want to go on that, GI?
I think what's most important is because talking about whether Knox wasn't. There's no other player. I can't think of nobody that was going to come in and save the Knicks drafted 8 or lower that year. So,
I agree
Knox it's not fair to pick on the Knox pick. What's most important is. Let me say this. What's most important?
Go ahead.
Well, that's a different discussion. We can have that discussion later. That's fair, but that's a different discussion.
Let me acknowledge Paris Duggar. So Paris Duggar, thank you for the super chat. Paris Duggar says we need a pro backcourt. Go get LeVert and Levine. You're right. So I'm not a fan of LeVert. I mean, I used to love the joint Casanova back in the day. It used to be the banger in the club. Casanova. Me and Romeo ain't never been friends. You know what I'm saying? I used to rock to that back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So LeVert has some good joints, but I don't know about them playing basketball. But anyway. You
don't have no guard on your team as good as LeVert. And let me say this to Kev. The Knicks' biggest bite in the tail is we never win the draft. We never win.
Don't get me started, man. You know the NBA is never gonna let us win the draft. The Knicks legit have never moved up in the lottery ever.
Uncle Freezy, I keep looking at Halliburton, bro. Every time he plays, it's gonna hurt me.
Well, here's the problem. Mo. We still haven't seen what Obi's going to be like in the next 20 games. Let me see that.
Whatever he does, it's not going to be as good at the position.
We don't know. We don't know.
And Cab, I'm telling you now, temper that expectation. Don't do it to yourself. Obi ain't going to be nothing without no guards.
Right.
Obi ain't going to do jack without guards.
We need a guard.
Mo, let me ask you this. Well, that's would you trade the 2 draft first round picks you have this year and the 2 Dallas picks in 2023 for Spider Mitchell?
I do it.
And mind you, he's a year.
How bad are we going to be this year?
That's the other thing. I don't think we're going to be as bad as people think it are.
Like,
as soon as we get healthy again, and then the schedule favors us, you know, towards
Then toward the end of the season, right?
Yeah,
if
towards
we're
the end.
bad, if we're
When
bad,
there when other teams,
yeah, let's trade
when
that.
other
Let's
teams
get
players are
Donovan Mitchell.
developing through the season, this
That's
season
if we're
is
bad.
over.
No, that's if we're bad.
If we're good, if we're good, like if we're gonna be a 500 team, yeah, let's trade for Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, absolutely.
But like if we don't have, if we're gonna play like we played the last 4 games,
No, I'm keeping everything.
Keep these picks.
I'm keeping them.
Keep them for what? That's what free.
So that we
keep
can
them
get
for
a
what?
top 5
How many
player in the
times- how many
draft.
people-
Donovan Mitchell is a top 5 player in the next. No, I'm not holding on. I'm sorry. I am not holding on. I am not holding on. You gotta fall back. You gotta fall back. Donovan Mitchell. No. You've never seen me act like this. Donovan Mitchell is a top 5 player in the next 10 draft. I don't want to hear. He's a top 5. No, I'm about to wake everybody in my house up. No. Don't tell me about keeping draft players for a guy who's top 5 in the next 5 drafts.
So let me ask. So Kev, I asked Mo, right? I asked Mo a legit question. I asked Mo a legit question just to get his take on it, just to get his thoughts on it. I'm sorry about saying take. Saying take sucks to me. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get his thoughts on it. So I'm gonna ask you, Kev. So we're looking for a point guard for the last 35 years. And the Sacramento Kings say, hey, we'll take RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, and 2 future first round picks for De'Aaron Fox. Would you do it? RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, and 2 future first round picks for De'Aaron Fox. Now, mind you, Mo just took Spider Mitchell. Would you put De'Aaron Fox and Spider Mitchell together?
Would I put them together?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
RJ Barrett. Now listen who I'm giving up. RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, and 2 future first round picks.
Going Julius Randle instead of RJ?
No.
Okay.
No. They want RJ Barrett and Kevin Knox.
It was just an offer. It was just because I feel like RJ, Spider Mitchell, and Fox are all in the same age group. You know what I mean?
But I asked Kev the question, and now Kev is quiet. But he wasn't quiet. He wasn't quiet with GI. But when I asked him, he started meditating.
You saw that, right? Freezy?
Yeah, Kev started on Kev.
Say players. And once you put a scenario in, he's like, well, that's different. I said, that ain't different. I just said that.
Kev, would you do that? You know you've been searching for a point guard for 35 years. And you can get De'Aaron Fox for RJ, Knox, and 2 firsts. And I know that's a lot, right? Yeah. But would you do it? Knowing you have Donovan Mitchell.
If we had Donovan Mitchell already on the team.
Devon, we trying to paint Kev in the corner. We don't want Kev to come out.
Yeah, I'd have to do it, man.
Before you answer that, I got to head out, fellas.
Hey, man.
Oh man!
I got to head out, fellas. Sorry.
Hey, remember, come back. Please come back.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah,
I'll be back. Good. Yo, G.I., good morning talk, man.
Thank you, brother. I'm sorry. I woke up everybody's kids. I apologize for waking up everybody's kids.
Yeah, man. So Devon, now that Kev has traded away most of our assets for a point guard to go with Donovan Mitchell, would you trade Julius Randle and 2 first round picks for Brandon Ingram to go with Donovan Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox?
No, I wouldn't do that.
I think I would. And
so
listen,
hold on, Uncle Freeze. Can I do this before you go? But hold on. And to everybody that said they wouldn't do that.
To do what?
Did the Nets make? Did the net that? Well, you are on board now, Kev. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome home. What's his name? Who just came in? I just met him for the first time. Sorry,
Devon.
Nice to meet you. Salute to you, King. Did the Nets? So before you do that, before Freezy take you deeper, because he's about to take you into the abyss. So put your deep boots on. Did the Nets make a good trade last night?
The Nets? Yeah.
So they made a good trade. He's all yours, Freeze.
Hey, man. So I would do that deal. You know why? Because based on points from everybody up here, based on what everybody said, even Coach Colorblocks, that scenario encompasses thoughts from everybody, including Cornerstone Kev, who says you need to have young cornerstone pieces, right? And by acquiring Swiper, Donovan Mitchell, and Brandon Ingram, you have young cornerstone pieces. Now, those draft picks that we coveted so much, those draft picks, we don't have them anymore, right? But you know what we do have? You know what we do have, right? Young cornerstone pieces that we were looking to use those draft picks on. We have them in-house. And guess what else? They're proven. They're proven. So now we're not getting in the draft and hearing Adam Silver say with the number 8 pick in the draft, the New York Knicks select Frank Ntilikina.
Freeze.
I get what you're saying, but here's why I wouldn't do it, Uncle Freeze.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask about Brandon Ingram. Doesn't Brandon Ingram have them blood clots?
Nah, man, get out of here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let Devon
Okay.
Let Devon get in.
Question.
Kev. So okay. Say Brandon Ingram and insert Jason Tatum.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Okay. Same thing. Young small forwards.
That's not the same thing.
Let Devon get off.
Right.
Not the same thing. But this is why I wouldn't do that trade. This is why I wouldn't do Brandon Ingram for Julius Randle and 2 first-round draft picks.
No, it's not just Brandon Ingram. It's any young small forward that fits the timeline, like Jason Tatum.
You Brandon Ingram knows. You put Brandon Ingram.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how the question was presented to me.
Okay.
That's how
touche. I got you.
And here's why. What's Julius Randle averaging right now? What's his numbers?
Yeah, through the roof. They're NBA what you call level. Here's
all-star level, right?
Here's what you missed though. I apologize. It's the timeline. No. We got to set the table right because I don't want you to just come in and move the goalpost. It's the timeline of when the Knicks will be.
I get the timeline. I get it.
Okay.
But
right.
Julius Randle ain't that old either. He's not that old. He's not to give up 2 first-round draft picks and him a power forward to get another wing player. If we got
20,
Mitchell,
23, 11, and 7.
Yeah, if we got Mitchell and Fox, we need a big man still. We need somebody in the middle, at least somebody to get some rebounds for the guys. You feel me? We can give it to Randle too, and he can play. He can give them the ball. He can bring the ball up and run the floor with them. That's why I wouldn't do that trade and give up the 2 first-round draft picks. If it was like 1 for 1, it would be a toss-up. However you want to see it, whoever you value more. But with the 2 first-round draft picks, that's why I wouldn't do that trade.
The problem is Randle's not.
Now for Tatum, that's a different story. I feel like Tatum is a top 15 to 12 to 15 player in the league. You feel me? Brandon Ingram, he's about the same.
The problem with Randle is
he got the same amount of value as Julius Randle right now. They're both from the Lakers. They both broke out when they left the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like we would still need a big man at the end of the day, and we can use those draft picks to find role players that fit in the roles that we need and the holes that we need on our team already.
But the problem is Randle's playing his best basketball of his life.
Yo, who talking like that?
And it doesn't impact winning. That's right. That's the problem.
Even just Brandon Ingram. How does Brandon Ingram impact winning as well?
Right, and so I understand where you're coming from, but what I was getting at is the ultimate goal for every organization, every day they wake up and go to work should be win a championship. That should be the goal every day to be the very best. That's the goal. That should be the goal. And so the Knicks, I think what we've done is we've pitter-pattered around, like we throw phrase buzzwords around, and it makes us look like we're doing our due diligence. And I'm here to tell you, when you look at how we lose these games here recently, nah, bro, this is not acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't smash David Fizdale. Think about it. We used to bash David Fizdale for losing in awkward ways. Like, man, how come we losing to such and such by 25 points? And fire him, right? Bring in a guy who loses by, and he don't lose by 20, he loses by 19. And we say, oh, but he was better than Fizdale because we only lost by 19. And then you bring in another guy, you know what I'm saying, off the scrap heap, a recycle guy. And you're like, well, he had a reputation for doing such and such. And then we come out here losing by 20, right? There should not be a double standard when it comes to accountability. I don't want to hear about this. Oh, it would take some time for him to put his systems in place. Nah, bro. We were off. Basketball was off for like 9 months, right? For us, it was. So I'm saying I'm not saying fire Thibodeau. What I'm saying is that we need to be more respectable. We lost to a Brooklyn team that only had one of his stars and some other cats. Who's the point guard? They had Bobby Brown from New Edition playing point guard last night, right? Bobby Brown. They had Bobby Brown playing point guard last night, and we still got drugged. And don't let the final score fool you, because Brooklyn was letting off the gas. They could have won by 30. You know what I'm saying? Don't be fooled.
Panel, man. I mean, really? Who lets this guy in?
Chuck's got his own key.
Chuck got his Orgal sweater. Chuck got his Orgal sweater on today. Chuck got his Orgal sweater on today.
Yeah, man. So the thing I wanted to get to is I heard everybody's point and everybody made good points. But what I did was take those points and turn them into like a potpourri for the scenario that I posed to Mo and to Devon and to Kev. That if you have the opportunity to go get a guy, man, you better go get him. You're not guaranteed to draft that guy.
But
you know what I'm saying?
My question is it at the expense or the at the cost of? In other words, we don't want another thing happening like it did with Brooklyn years ago when they got Garnett and Pierce and all them.
I don't want to be the Hawks.
Don't. Or the Hawks, exactly.
I don't want to win 60 games and get swept in the first round.
Okay. Let me ask y'all this. You said I don't want to be the Brooklyn Nets, right? So while the Brooklyn, but hear me out. So while the Brooklyn Nets were losing in the second round of the playoffs and back-to-back seasons, what were the Knicks doing?
Well, we were still trying to find ourselves. But then again, we were.
You guys got to think before you speak. You are setting Uncle Freezy up to be the superstar of all morning drive.
Who wants to be the We've been doing this for years. Why are we talking about doing it again?
The Nets were relevant.
We trade all our picks all the time. We trade all our young assets all the time. Why are we talking about doing it again? Let's keep these assets.
Hold on. Mo. How old are you? Mo, how old are you?
We do have assets. How old am I? I'm 28. I'm 28.
All right, you're 28. I'm 30. And your whole 50. You've been a Knicks fan your whole life, right?
I'm 50. I've been a Knicks fan since 1983.
God bless you.
Okay, I'm gonna go down the line. Name the players that we've drafted since you've been alive that have been good.
That have been good.
Kristaps Porzingis.
That's it.
And David Lee. I'll give it to David Lee.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Charlie Ward wasn't horrible.
Can we try the building through the draft way for a couple of years? Can we try that for once? We always try to go for the quick fix. Let's go get Eddie Curry. Let's go get this person. We gotta draft well first. Look, you guys were talking about Kuzma earlier, right? But what the Lakers did was they drafted well first. They drafted Ball. They drafted Ingram. They drafted Kuzma. And they drafted Hart. Those were all good foundational pieces. And they traded them. You know, and they traded them for the bona fide star. We can't do that if we're drafting Frank Ntilikina and Knox and stuff like that.
Devon, but listen. So here's the thing. And I love your passion on this topic, man. And in a linear scenario, you'd be absolutely right. But the thing that you don't take into account is the Lakers finishing with the 10th worst record in the league, and then the lottery comes and they move up to 2.
No,
wait, hear me out. So the Lakers finished with the 8th worst record in the draft and move up to 2. Okay. The Lakers finished with the 11th worst record in the league and move up to 2. And by doing
so, but that's luck.
No. Hear me out. Because y'all made your points. The point is, when they move up to 2, that gives them the opportunity to get Brandon Ingrams. That gives them the opportunity to get Lonzo Balls.
They suck those years, though.
But no, they didn't suck those years. They barely missed the playoffs and then they moved up. But the Knicks, on the other hand,
we suck every
year. They
year.
moved up the year that they had LeBron and he got hurt. They were a good team still. They were second in the West before LeBron got hurt.
End up with these draft picks, Devon. We end up every year and end up with the draft picks we end up with.
So draft. If we draft well and draft players that teams might want, that teams might find value in, then we might be able to make a trade for a bona fide star. Until then, we can't not. Frank Ntilikina has no value. We traded Porzingis.
Wait. But the only one that has value,
Porzingis for DSJ, and DSJ has no value.
The only one that has value, the only pick that we have that has value is Mitchell Robinson. That's
but so y'all are making my argument for me. So you said we need to keep drafting, right? So then you just said that Frank Ntilikina has no value. So you're saying that we need to keep drafting, hoping that we don't
draft good players that are good.
All right, Uncle Freezy, I got a question for you. Would you trade Mitch and 2021, both of our 2021 draft picks for Karl Anthony Towns? Ghetto's tired of He's tired of us, but no.
Hey, done.
Wow.
That's done. That's done.
Wow.
That's easy.
Wow.
That's wrong with me with Karl Anthony Towns.
You think I'm gonna turn down?
His motive bothers me, Freezy. His motive bothers me.
Okay, so what do you get?
Let's hear from the real guy. Chuck, would you do that? Chuck, would you do that?
What you just said, hold on. Let me talk to GI. But you just said we need to get some bona fide players, a bona fide star. That's not a bona fide star. That's a come up. Mitchell Robinson and 2 first-round picks for Karl Anthony Towns. That's a come up. That's a steal.
I apologize. When I'm looking for a bona fide star, he leads the team. He takes the game over, and he makes other players better. I apologize. I've been playing basketball since 1979. You and I look at it a little differently. A bona fide star gets, and I hate to say his name, if he's not a LeBron James type, AD type.
Time out.
Karl Anthony Towns.
That goes back to my whole. Wait, hold on. Time out. That goes back to my whole case of what I was saying. That goes back to my whole case of what I'm saying. It's only a few players like that in the league. And right now, all of those players are on a team and playing with each other. We got to build in the draft and look for those next set of players that are going to beat.
Honestly, Devon, your argument makes no sense, but I'm leaving you alone because Freezy's walking yes. Because here's why. Well, here's why, my brother. Here's why.
Why doesn't it make any sense?
Because Freezy said, let's take the draft picks and trade them for stars. And then you said, let's draft good players and then trade them for stars. Why take the risk of trying to find the good players than just giving up the stars and getting the draft?
Because the player, it's when you have the player, a product that somebody can value and they see what he does in the NBA already, he has more value than a draft pick. What are you talking about?
Are you listening to yourself, Devon?
Hold on. Would you rather have the first pick in the draft or Luka Doncic?
I don't know what you mean right now. That didn't make any sense. What you said was draft good players, then trade them. And Freezy said take the draft picks and get the good players. You're still
what I'm
ending
saying
up
is
with the good player.
The draft
But-
pick without a player is just a draft.
Breezy, your
pick.
turn. I'm out.
Draft
Wait,
pick
hold on,
with
hold on,
a
hold on.
player
Let me
has
ask.
value.
Wait, hold on,
Let me
hold
ask
on.
this question.
Wait, I
That don't make
got
sense.
Let me ask this question real quick, Mo. Real quick. When did we? Who and when did we trade? Which player did we get when we traded the pick, and that pick turned out to be Stoudemire? Y'all remember that? We traded.
We signed Stoudemire, no?
No,
Oh, he's
no,
talking
we-
about before that.
no, we signed him, but we I think it was McDice. I think we traded for McDice, and we sent that pick, and that pick turned out to be Stoudemire.
Oh, cap space.
Right.
I don't want to do that. That's the thing I don't want to do.
That's what I'm saying. Stoudemire, we could have had Stoudemire back in the day, but instead we had him, when he was close to, quote unquote, close to his retirement, pretty much.
Trav, that draft pick that you mentioned,
Yes,
was a dude named Nene Hilario.
Nene Hilario.
Yeah, that's who that pick was. Talking about in the McDice trade.
Yes.
Yep. It was a dude named Nene Hilario.
Okay, what about Stephen? Stephen Marbury. When Stephen Marbury came over here,
I'm not for sure.
I think McDice. Stoudemire was involved in one of those. If McDice was involved with the Nene one, then I think Stoudemire was involved with Stephen Marbury because he was drafted by the Suns, right?
I can't. I'm not for sure.
All right, I'm gonna look that up and everything. So, what
Hey, is Stephen Fox trolling our show? I'm just asking. I'm just asking because it sound like a hater right now for no reason, like a random. This is a random hater.
I'm gonna do my research. Chuck, you're being incredibly quiet.
That was
Chuck, you're being incredibly quiet.
Hey Chuck, so what side are you on, Chuck?
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
Everybody down productions, get out of here. They don't talk KRS-One.
And I think very deeply.
Crazy.
Right.
Wait, Chuck, before you say something. All right, so the reason why James Harden, right? The reason why they got James Harden, right? Like the Nets were able to draft Karis LeVert. They were able to draft Jarrett Allen. We don't have guys that we've drafted who people would trade for to give us their superstar. Like we don't have those guys. Like it's more valuable to have a drafted player who's homegrown than a draft pick. So I would be more on that
Would
side.
you rather have Luka Doncic or the first pick right now to select Cade Cunningham? I would take
That's the
Luka.
argument. That's the argument I just
already
made for Spider. I would take Spider over the first draft pick the next 5 years. That's the argument I just made. Devon. What I'm saying is.
That's what I'm telling you.
Well,
the player itself has more value than the draft pick.
If somebody wants to give us their stars for draft picks for whatever reason, why would I say no? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to draft them first, and then I'm going to come back and trade for your draft picks. For your stars.
That's not what I'm saying. You're taking it like a linear. Like if we don't do this, we got to do that. If we draft
please help me, please.
All right,
hey,
look.
man, so everybody has
Cade Cunningham right now today, right? And next year he was a 20-10 player. We could trade him for whatever we want.
So where were you drafting Cade Cunningham? Wait. Where was Cade Cunningham projected to go in the draft?
1 or 2.
And you expect the Knicks to move up in the lottery?
Look, y'all put your own spin on everything. Y'all listen to what you're just saying.
I'm asking you if you expect the Knicks to move up in the draft when they have never done. Okay.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, look at Tyler Hero. The Heat drafted Tyler Hero. Ever since they got Tyler Hero, they could trade for Giannis. They could trade for a Bradley Beal. They could do this. They could trade him for this. They can move him in some pieces for that. We don't have no players like that on our team. That's all I'm saying. We don't have. Let's get those type of players because the draft pick itself is a crapshoot. You don't know who you're going to get. But if you have a player that's already in the league, developed and playing he's already established.
I promise you, you're arguing with yourself. You really are, but you're not taking time to listen because you're saying we don't have established players, but get players in the draft. But then you're saying the draft is a crapshoot. You came in late, so that's part of the problem. You came into the conversation. You are. You're saying draft the players, but the draft is a crapshoot. Which is it? Draft the players or it's a crapshoot? Which is it?
What I'm saying is that's what we need. All right, I'm done with the conversation. I'm done. We can move on from that one.
Come on, man. I mean, so here's the thing. Let me get. Hey, so
did he hang up the phone on me? He's like my ex-wife. He just hung up the phone on me. What the That's what she does to me. She hangs up the phone on me. What the fuck?
It's a love affair.
No, he's still there, man.
So what you got, Chuck?
Not at all. I have to do something off camera.
No, we go with the talent.
I know.
You go with the proven talent already. In that case, if you have that guy already on the team, like the Luka situation, you keep Luka instead of
drafting a player, right?
Yeah, because you already have the proven talent. You don't know what you're drafting.
That's all I'm saying.
Like the Knicks, first of all, we draft real bad, right? So if you already got the talent,
what are you talking about? We've knocked our picks out of the park, man. We've knocked our picks out of. I'm just humoring you.
Nah. You can unfold that.
I'm humoring you.
You can definitely unfold that because
it's hot here. I gotta take a few letters.
Take a little sip of my morning tea, you know.
Yeah. Freezy left.
No, he's letting us.
I'm here.
Oh.
He's letting us eat.
Okay, Freak. Because I was about to be you.
Yo, it's a hostile takeover. Chuck is storming the chat.
Oh god.
Yeah. So yeah. Definitely go with the proven talent already instead of wishing and hoping on a draft pick without track record.
Right.
So we can't afford no more Franks.
All right. Knock it off.
Knock
it off. It's not
just him. There's a whole.
We got like 5-6 draft picks in the next. We can't draft a Frank. We got at least to draft somebody that we can trade. That's tradable.
At least we got Quickly.
Even oh Lord,
Quickly is okay.
He's terrible.
No, he's not. Come on.
He dropped 19.
Yeah,
one game.
Do you see the move he was giving them?
That's what move? The floater? He got 2 moves.
He had the
floater
crossover into the N1. It was like
and what kind of shot did he shoot?
Listen, Quickly's already becoming my favorite. Whenever a player can go into the lab at 2:30 in the morning and work on his craft, and then after a loss, go back and work on his craft, he's good in my book. Everybody else want to go to the club. Want to go to the club? Huh? What?
That's not a skill.
That's called work ethic. That's called work ethic.
That's not hard to do.
That's called work. Well, to everybody else is because nobody else is doing it, but he is.
You don't know nobody else is doing it,
right? You don't. That's just something that you seen that he put out there. So
why is it? Why is it? It should be told as much as social media is.
Just like how people say, "Oh, Kevin Knox sit around and play Fortnite." How do we know that?
Because it was on his blazer on the draft night.
The kid. That's what 18 and 19-year-olds do. But he never practiced before. That's why he got drafted, right?
My question is based off of because the conversation kind of went in a weird direction. I really didn't want to talk about, draft picks and all that stuff because my mindset is we need to win every day. You know what I'm saying? We lost last night, so what? We moving forward to the next team, and we need to win, right? Because I think culture is established when good culture is established when you have good habits. You know what I'm saying? And you emphasize good things. You know what I'm saying? Like what Kev said about work ethic, but you also need to have good relationships with players and their families. You also need to have coaches that are innovative, and that can show their innovation on the floor. Culture comes from giving best effort every day. When teams get in this mindset of, well, we lost by 20 to Brooklyn, but we have 1,000 draft picks over the next 2 years. That's not the kind of, you know what I'm saying? You don't know if that's the kind of culture you want to tell young guys. Like, go out here and try to work on such and such, but next year we might get the number 1 pick. I don't know if that's what you want to have your culture be set as a team that is always looking forward to the lottery. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, what you telling your players, we didn't win tonight on the court, but we might win the lottery. I don't know if that's what you want to tell people. You know what I'm saying?
That's not what we're doing. Listen, so what's happening is we hired Thibodeau because Thibodeau is never going to allow his players to do that. But right. we also self-sabotaged ourselves. Like, I think we signed Elfrid Payton, like, deliberately to be bad this year.
To be tank commander.
Yeah. Like, because he's got the no trade clause. He's got the no trade clause. We keeping him. He's tank commander. That's just what it is.
What has Elfrid Payton done to deserve a no trade clause?
He has a no trade clause because he got cut. He got cut by the team and re-signed by the same team. So the team can't trade you based on the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, that's a collective bargaining thing. Yeah. That's not in his contract.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
That's why but he would have to agree. He would have to agree to go to a team if they
I understand how that works. I'm just saying I didn't understand how. What I'm saying is like, okay, like give LeBron
I agree.
A no trade clause. You know what I mean?
And so the original question, just for Chuck B and Cornerstone Cav, is what are you more upset by? Are you more upset by the way we lost to Brooklyn, who floored a depleted roster, and we still lost by 20, or the fact that they made a major trade and is going for it right now while the Knicks latest acquisition was Taj Gibson?
Neither.
Oh,
neither.
For me, A.
Neither. For one, I expected to lose to Brooklyn, and all right, the part that bothered
with a depleted roster, Chuck.
Yes, we are depleted. The part, reality setting in, right? Let it set in, corner. Let it in.
Yeah, and it's by talent and by injury. So I can dig where you're coming from.
Yeah. So my thing is, I would have preferred them. They name be floated out there like they tried to. Not that I wanted Harden, but I want them to be aggressive.
Right. You mean the front office?
Yeah, because too often we're not in the conversations when these stars become available.
Right.
You
know, no, because look, that's how we got Melo.
No. What I'm saying is I didn't necessarily want them, but I want to know the front office have a pulse.
Right.
Chuck, that's not fair. I don't mean to interrupt. Harden had a short list of people he would go with a 2-year contract. So why would he go to the Knicks and then the Knicks not sign him and you give up 6 years worth of assets for a player you're going to rent for 2 years? So that's not fair for the Knicks.
Why can't I see you?
Because
I needed to go dark. For a minute.
Dark day.
No,
Right.
my thing is, all right, we got all of these assets and so-called assets and cap space. When do we use them? When do we put them into effect? There's times where teams are doing salary dumps, right? And offering a pick for us, not us necessarily, but take this guy off our hands. We give you a second round pick or whatever.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, Chuck. Do you think?
Why don't we?
Let me ask you a question. You think management is scared to make a move because of the repercussions from the media or from the fans?
No, I just think we waiting for more Kentucky and CAA guys or whatever.
Personally, I think the league is in a weird space right now. It's in a weird space where the top guys are on their last little legs, like the last couple of years of their career. And the new guy and then the new stars are still developing. So we're kind of like, and we're in the back of the line, you know what I mean? We don't got no old vets, or we don't got no real young bona fide studs, you know what I mean? So I feel like we need to wait. We got to wait. Like, it's going to be a couple of years, it might take a couple of seasons, but we need to wait. We need to wait until maybe Jason Tatum comes disgruntled and he wants to leave, you know what I mean? Maybe wait until something like that happens, because if we try to strike now, like let's just say we struck now and we got, let's just say Donovan Mitchell. We're still gonna be fighting for the playoffs, like, you know what I mean? We're still not gonna, and if we do make it, we're not gonna win a series. So it's about timing. It's about timing. I don't think it's the right time. Personally, I don't think it's the right time yet.
Right.
The only thing that bothers me is that I feel like the Nets, like we could easily be the Nets right now. Like if like KD had chose to come to the Knicks, if Kyrie had chose to come to the Knicks, we could easily be the Nets right now. I mean, we didn't want Kyrie. I didn't want Kyrie because he has some issues. But like, that's the only thing that bothers me. Like how close how close they are, how close this like super team is to us. But like, do I want to be them right now? Am I more happy to be a Knicks fan? Obviously, I'm always more happy to be a Knicks fan. I'll always like rep my team more. Like, but it's just like it could easily have been us. That's all.
To Cuatro Cinco and Chuck. Cuatro Cinco, I'm absolutely listening to Chuck. But to you and him's point, I have to say you're not fair. Number one, you have to ask, if I have a Lamborghini for sale and you come up and offer me $5,000, who look crazy? Me for selling a Lamborghini or you for offering me $5,000 for it? Right. So you're saying we should be in the conversation for Harden when Houston was clear. You have to give us a star player that we value and multiple draft picks. So you have the multiple draft picks, but you have not one star player that Houston would be interested in putting on their roster. So to say, no, I understood your point. I wasn't, Devon, let me finish this. So to say, Cuatro Cinco, to say I'm not listening to Chuck, and for Chuck to say we should be in discussions when players like Harden become available, that's just not realistic right now today. Devon, I wasn't, your point wasn't bad. If you wanted to say, let's just draft players and see, I wouldn't have argued that. Your point was, though, to say we're going to draft players and then trade them. And then that's when I was saying, well, you're arguing with yourself. Because if you already have the draft picks and somebody's willing to give you a star player for the draft picks, why spend time drafting?
Yeah, I understand. What I was saying
we like to call that get down to the nitty gritty.
What I'm saying is this. I'd rather have Brandon Ingram than the pick to have Brandon Ingram. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather have the player already, you know what I mean, than the pick. The pick, we don't know.
So in other words, you want the pick. You want to have the opportunity to see if you want to keep that the pick instead of or trade him. Am I understanding you right, Divine?
I want to have so it kind of sounds weird because it kind of sounds weird, but I'd rather have drafted Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
like, all right, he's already, let's just say we have Brandon Ingram on our team.
Right.
Then to know in the draft that there's another Brandon Ingram to draft, I'd rather have the player that's already in the league that I've already seen play.
Right.
You get what I'm trying to say? That I've already seen with my own eyes. But if we get Brandon, the value of Brandon Ingram being able to draft him is not as high as the value of Brandon Ingram, the player that we've already seen.
Yeah.
That's my point. If we draft well, then and teams see like, oh, okay, he's a good, he can be something. He's on his rookie contract still. He was averaging 18 points last year. He looks like on the up and up.
Okay.
Then that player can become available. But if we're drafting players like Knox, we're stuck with them. Because what are we gonna trade Knox for? Because if we trade him for a second round pick. Let's say we try to trade him for a second round pick, we losing. Because that was our first round pick. We losing on that pick. We lost his value. His value went all the way down to a second pick.
And maybe that's where we got confused, Devon, because I promise you we're saying the same thing. The only difference is I'm not looking back. We can't fix those draft picks. So I'm saying we got a ton going forward. And if somebody was to say, you know what, I can't afford the star I have now, just give me your picks going forward. I thought your position was, well, I'm not giving up those picks going forward. I'm going to see what I can make of them and then trade for something. But then you said the draft was a crapshoot too. So I'm saying I'm getting rid of them picks now because in order for us to change our culture, we need a star. And I love Julius Randle, but he doesn't have enough players around him to change the culture.
Right.
We have to play in order for Julius to be Julius, we have to play to his style. I want a star that creates a style. I'm sorry.
Right. And that just goes back to my point of just timeline. Like, you know what I mean? Like how I said, like the league is it's in a transition period. You know what I mean? Like we know LeBron is the best player in the league, but we know that time is coming to an end. So we're trying to anoint the next, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to anoint the next best players and the next best team. Like, I don't think we should be looking at the Nets or, like teams like the Nets or like the Lakers, like, about being better than like the Hawks, the Bucks, and teams with the Celtics, teams with those young players that are going to still be in the league in the next 10 to 12 years. You know what I mean? Like,
you still give you the thumbs up.
We're not going to get to that championship level anytime soon. So
you saw me give you the thumbs up when you made that statement earlier. That's a great statement.
Yeah. What I'm saying is I don't want to be the Hawks where we went 60 games, 4 all-stars, you know what I mean? But we don't really we all knew like that ain't really gonna
that's not sustainable.
The Hawks will win though. The Hawks will win because the Hawks of today, I want to be the Hawks of today.
Yeah, of today. I'm talking about the Hawks when they had Joe Johnson,
when they went
Korver,
to the Eastern Conference Final. And
they would be like one of the best teams in the East. But
was that Miami that blitzed them? Was that Miami that blitzed them?
I think so. Where they were just like they're a good team, but they're not a championship team. That's the sorriest position to be in the NBA. To be to know that you're going to be a 6th, 7th, 8th seed, 9th seed in the league every year. That's the worst position to be in. You want to be
I've been a Knicks fan like that for a long time, since 87, 88. That's who we've been all the way through the Melo years. Even in the Melo years, we weren't a top seed except for 1 year. Even that year, we weren't tippy top. But
even that year, we were a good team, but we knew like, all right, we're not going to really
win no championship.
Yeah, we might, you know what I mean? It might be like the Heat where they kind of we stumbled along it, but we knew like it's not going to happen.
Well, we
19 con man, New York City. Hold on, let me talk to the chat. 19 con man, New York City. You said we're on the right path. I don't know if I can say we're on the right path. We have the right assets right now for a young team. All these draft picks. But our path has not been established yet. Hold on, let Mo go. I cut Mo off. Go, Mo.
I honestly lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
We're getting too old. We're getting too old.
No, you know what it is. Nah, Mo, when he home, he wake and bake. So
hey, that's why I have to get off the camera. my California team.
Don't let my employers know this.
Chuck, you are being extremely quiet. Let us hear the professor. Go ahead, teacher. Tell us.
What's the subject?
See, yeah, only time he's the professor, you have to make the plate for him. All Chuck does is he eats. Go ahead, Mo.
Chuck, you wanna trade
TA.
players?
He's not a professor. He's a TA.
Chuck, Chuck, you wanna trade players for stars, right? You want to trade all the picks for stars right now, right? You think we're gonna be bad? I just want like smoke with Chuck right now. Like, what's up? Why are you always negative? like what's up?
I've learned to accept.
Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. In chat, Mo wants all the smoke.
The Knicks.
Mo wants all the
one
smoke.
good thing about the Knicks.
Hey,
Mo wants all.
I've learned to accept
He put on Look what he put on you. Look what he put on.
I've just learned to accept it. He's not going to be an optimist. He's going to be that pessimist. I just learned to accept it.
What's good? Okay, what's good?
Say one good thing about the Knicks, Chuck.
Thanks for building. What's good?
Hey, please come back on, man.
let me just do this, and then I'm gonna let y'all rock. Okay.
I can't.
Back when I was 16, I was 6'4".
Get him off, man.
I went to the store.
Oh my god.
I walked into the bodega.
Mo, stay focused, Mo. Don't fall for this. Stay focused. Free smoke.
I'm here.
Free smoke.
I put a candy bar on the counter. It was a Snicker. They said, Uncle Freezy, you sure you want the Snicker? I said, yeah, Uncle Freezy want a Snicker. I left the store. The Snicker was good. A year later, I went back to the store. I was 6'5". They said, Uncle Freezy, you want your Snicker again? I said, no, dog.
Mo, don't fall for the rope-a-dope. Ali used to bounce around the ring, and then all of a sudden he just started fighting. Don't fall for it.
I want a chocolate chip. I said that to say this. There's always change. Simmer sing in the building. Now y'all get back. I'm gonna go off and let y'all work.
I feel like Chuck's a little intimidated by my challenge. I think that's what it was.
Hey, Mo, they call it deflection.
Oh, he put his hat back on. Oh, here you go.
What you say, Mo? You want smoke?
Let's go.
You want smoke?
I'm ready.
What you got? What you got?
You change it from one character to another. I'm Mo. I'm still Mo.
What you got? What you got?
What you got? Say something positive about the
Hold
Knicks.
on, let me. Yeah, he said say something positive about the Knicks.
Okay. Randall was good.
Okay.
That's it.
Jeez, I knew that.
That's it. There's nothing else that's good happening this season. Like everything around this organization is just dark.
Yeah.
Really.
All right.
The only good that
we play one way. We play one way. We have one option that's showing up every night. We don't have a standout second player, second option. We're easy to defend. All you got to do is zone us up. If you double Randall, our offense is dead. We play terrible defense. We got one point guard on the team that can't shoot, and he got tunnel vision. Our center never took a shot outside the paint.
But what about him playing? What about him actually staying on the court? He's actually able to.
Congratulations. That's
very big. That's what
everybody wanted Mitch to
that could end your career. Like,
you got to start somewhere.
Something that could end your career, Chuck.
You got to. Oh, he don't foul out no more. Oh,
yes. Like we got a rim protector, Chuck.
Okay, he joined the rest of the club. He don't foul out no more.
That's not the rest of the club.
He hasn't been playing.
Like Nerlens Noel, whose career is just done. Like Nerlens Noel is who he is because he gets in foul trouble all the time. Mitchell is learning how to not be that guy, how to not be a doofy big, and like that's
something. Tell me nothing about Mitchell Robinson when Rudy Gobert just got $200 million.
You should
exactly.
Congratulate the
he ain't never took a 3 in his life.
Exactly.
Get him, y'all. Get Chuck, y'all. Get him.
You can't tell me nothing about no center shooting no jumper.
And I will say with Taj Gibson back, I think
I'm coming for you, Chuck.
As well.
When Rudy Gobert is a career 11-11 player and he got $200 million.
You better tag phone a friend, Chuck. Phone a friend.
No, I don't need it.
What's up, Chuck?
Let him respond. Give him a chance to respond, guys.
Mitch hasn't been guarding those centers that playing the post so far. Not so far, but the one game he did it, he had like 4 fouls. Other than that, it was Harford.
But Jokic, the best center in the league.
You're not going to pick up. You're not going to pick up fouls if you ain't.
Jokic is crafty. He's the craftiest center in the league. You're going to pick up. You're going to foul him.
No. What? No. The point you just missed is he hasn't been guarding nobody so far on the schedule that play in the post.
How many centers in the league play in the post now? How many centers in the league play in the post now?
All right.
You gotta understand that the role of a center right now defensively isn't to guard the guy like the post man. It's to protect the rim.
Get an OG a chance, y'all. Get an OG a chance
post right now.
Get an OG a chance, y'all. Get an OG a chance.
Who gets in foul trouble guarding DeAndre Jordan?
Nobody.
That's like getting in foul trouble guarding Mitch. It don't happen. So you giving him credit for not getting in foul trouble. You ever think he's not getting nobody in foul trouble? Ooh.
No. Look,
Rudy Gobert just averaged 11 and 11 for his career. Got $200 million.
You're not getting other people into foul trouble. So that's what you do. You're changing the whole argument. It's about Mitch being a rim protector that we can rely on for the next 10 years.
He's been known to move the goalpost, Mo. He's been known to move the goalpost.
All right. First of all,
let me ask you a question.
He's a terrible one-on-one defender, but go ahead, ask the question.
Whoa. Time out. Now that I disagree with you with. He is not a terrible one-on-one defender.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
In the league right now,
hold on, Kev. Let them get in.
Yeah.
Who would you compare Mitchell Robinson to? Who style would you compare him to?
JaVale McGee.
What? Oh God.
Okay.
Oh God.
JaVale McGee?
G.I., man. G.I., he's got to stop that madness, man.
JaVale McGee actually hit a 3 in his life. Hold on. JaVale McGee actually hit a 3 in his life and shot a hook shot before.
And what year? Time out. And what year in the league did JaVale McGee shoot a 3? How many years was he in the league before he started shooting 3s?
When is Mitch going to shoot a 3?
Time out.
That doesn't answer his question.
Yeah, that didn't answer my question. That didn't answer my question at all.
Yeah, that is true, Chuck. You got to answer his question first.
You got to answer his question. I didn't answer his question. He said timeout because you didn't answer his question. He wants you to move the goalpost. Timeout. Stop moving the goalpost. That's what he's saying.
Well, I don't have the year pulled up.
What? No, but okay. I got it pulled up. JaVale McGee didn't make a year. He didn't make a 3 until his 10th year in the league. Wait, he made 1 3 1 year.
He said Mitch got 8 more years, Chuck. He said Mitch got 8 more years.
When he started shooting threes, it wasn't until his 10th year when he was 31 years old.
So, Devon, are you saying give Mitch 8 more years?
Yeah.
No, not 8 more years. Give him his time, though. And McGee, when JaVale McGee was 21, he averaged 6 and 5.
And why does your center need to shoot the 3?
Why does he?
No.
McGee, Dwight Howard, they won a ring.
How about a 5-footer, Mo?
A 5-footer, like it's not.
He can
Let's start
finger roll it and make it. What are you talking about?
Let's start.
He can dunk
The
it.
important thing was staying on the court. Now
All right,
he's staying on the court. We can get him to make that little. You know he has that in his game. He's just afraid to pull it
I
out.
just want the hook shot.
How he got something in his game that you haven't seen? You assuming he have it? Don't he got to show it to you before you say he got it in his game?
This guy, he wasn't able to play college basketball, man.
Excuse.
He didn't play college basketball. He went straight from high school to this, and he had a pandemic in between. Like, there's a lot going on right now. You gotta wait. You really gotta wait.
Any more excuses? Or you done?
It's not an excuse. This is what
This is real life.
that's what it is.
It's real life.
Excuses.
It's real life. He didn't go to college. So last year was just like his one and done year. If you want to put it like that.
Who
Let me put some context on it. Mitch is in his contract season. I'm gonna let the youngsters pick a value. Chuck, I should make you pick. You know what, Chuck? I'm gonna make you pick a value first. How much you giving Mitch at the end of the season?
At the end of this season?
No, let Chuck go first since y'all went first on him. Let Chuck go first. We're gonna switch the rounds up.
10 mil.
10 mil a year.
Yeah.
Man, we ain't giving no Mitch no $10 million.
Hold on, let the guys might give him more.
What's
The
good?
guys might give him more. How much y'all giving him, guys?
Yo, what's good?
What's good?
Let me before.
Did you miss?
Go
ahead.
Before, like I tell you the number, I'm gonna tell you like what Clint Capella's making right now. Clint Capella got a 5-year contract for $90 million, so that's like $18 million a year. I give Mitch 15 for 4 years. 60 million, 4 years.
Hey, Freezy, I'm gonna let you take back over. It's Mitch. It's Chuck versus the two young brothers.
I say no. I've been here. I just been letting them eat. No, I've been because Mo wants some smoke with somebody, and it's not just with
free
Chuck.
Smoke.
I think Mo wants smoke with anybody, but Chuck is the easy target. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like right here. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants smoke with anybody because if Mr. Devon would have jumped over Chuck just to say something, Mo would have been collateral damage, bro. You know what I'm saying?
They together. They teamed up. They said the Avengers versus Thanos right now. Hey, Uncle Freezy, but did you get to see Chuck's impression of you?
Yeah, it was hilarious. And yo, I had my finger on the button. I was gonna jump in. I was like, nah, man, let me because this is funny.
Hey, I was waiting for him to put the glasses on.
Yeah, hey, Kev, wait a minute. The tradition you want to.
Hey, just
five. That's a 5. Five, you blind fool.
Hey, Freeze, how long we going today, man? My kids is looking at me like I'm starving.
So I was about to wrap up here, man, because I'm a little wore out too, man. Then I got a big day tomorrow. So listen, this is what I want to tell y'all. So first of all, chat and everybody else listening, whether you're in the chat right now or you comment later, if you're watching this on replay. So tomorrow, January 15th, is Uncle Freezy's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
So bring your A game.
Yeah.
Bring your A game tomorrow.
65?
Right?
65?
Right? No, man, I ain't 65. I'm 64.
Eligible?
I'm 64. and so also tomorrow, we have a special guest that's going to be on the show. Tomorrow we're going to have 2-time MLB All-Star, 4-time MLB Gold Glove second baseman Orlando Hudson on the show tomorrow.
Okay.
Right. So to those that are not really familiar with how we do things here with Blowing Tears and such, we try to provide like quality content and try to stay away from the same stale conversation. We try to have a robust conversation. Sometimes it may be a cup of tea, sometimes it's not. But the thing is about it is we give everybody the opportunity to speak their mind, right? So in the deal, and the second thing is we bring people to the show. And so far in our short lifetime, I interviewed Hall of Fame linebacker Harry Carson from the New York Giants. His interview is up on the channel right now. And so we've also had Jonathan Macri from Knicks Film School. And we also have a commitment from Terry and Trey. So he'll be on sometime within the next week or so or whatever. It's just us linking up, and the entertainer talking sports is also looking to come on at some point. So what we look to do is shake it up some with guests and such, so that it won't be the same stale. Oh, Alfred Payton can't shoot. What do you think about Alfred Payton shot? No, it ain't gonna be none of that business. What we want to do is have fun on here and entertain. So Orlando Hudson's coming on tomorrow. I got some other people that are lining up. I'm not gonna say it's in the bag yet, but I got some other people that'll be coming on too, and not just.
Can you get Frank Ntilikina on so that he can go up against Chuck?
No, but I could get Frank's hairdresser. I could get Frank Ntilikina hairdresser. But
we could get his suit tailor. We got suit tailor.
We could get Frank stylist.
Because he just got.
So, but yeah, so we got some stuff coming. We got some legit stuff coming. I'm working on getting another famous Hall of Fame New York Giants linebacker. So I'm looking to get another guy. And I also there's and I don't want to give this away either, but I'm working on getting a Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker from the 90s, a big dude. So I'm working on getting some guys.
I'll be on there for that one.
Yeah. And so the deal is this y'all. So I work on it. So I'm working on it.
Hold on, y'all ain't gonna let y'all go past the Steelers. What happened? What happened to y'all?
Oh, shoot, here he go.
Yo.
Yeah. So we want to, and so I said all that stuff.
I'll deal with you.
I said all that stuff because I want to make sure that y'all know that we're trying to differentiate ourselves from others. You know what I'm saying? And not that others don't provide quality content. It's just that we want to see, and it's not just me, but it's others behind the scenes. We want to see people's faces when say cats like Mo and Divine get to interact with dudes, you know what I'm saying, that played these sports at a high level, that have been in the league, that have been there and done that. So but yeah, tomorrow's Uncle Freezy's birthday. Orlando Hudson's gonna be on. So the interview, so it'll be I promised Legion of Knicks podcast that we'll do that interview together. So we'll do that interview together real quick, and then take some questions from the live chat. You know what I'm saying?
Why is Legion of Knicks podcast on there? He don't need to be on there. Who is he?
Dog.
Who is he?
Who is Legion of Knicks? Exactly. Who is Legion of Knicks podcast?
Yeah, we need a real Met fan on there. That's why Freezy ain't no Met fan. We need real Met fans on there.
So man, it's hard to get baseball players on. For some reason, baseball players don't like talking on stuff like this. So I was fortunate to get one, but football players, for some reason, like stuff like this. Okay. So I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I can't promise you something I can't do.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. I don't want people thinking that I get on here and promise stuff and then I can't. No, I don't do that, because I would much rather just talk to Chuck B and Cornerstone Kev as opposed to getting some random dude with no cachet or nothing. Yeah, we could talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Before we get so, but yeah, tomorrow's Uncle Freezy's birthday. We're gonna start at 8:45, man. We're gonna do the interview with Orlando Hudson at 10 a.m. Right. We got some other stuff coming in the pipeline too, man. So I want y'all to stick around and make sure that we continue to grow the Blurrens Tears family. Also, if you liked what you saw today, like with Mo and Devon jumping in and trying to give everybody the business, and you feel like you can do it, come on. Just be sharp like them cats. You know what I'm saying? Don't come on and then, you know, have nothing to say, just take up the thing. You can let somebody else, you know what I'm saying, come in and do that. But if you feel like you got something to say, you don't have to say it in the virtual chat, because I read y'all comments anyway. But if you got something to say, you know what I'm saying, come on. Like Supreme System Lord, Chop Low. You know what I'm saying? Like Chop Low, my hype man. I missed him today. I hope he be here tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But if you got something that you feel like, you know, you can do on camera, come on. You know what I'm saying? I don't discriminate. I only discriminate if you whack, like if you come on here trying to be like selling porn and life insurance or something stupid. Then you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you the boot for show, because you know we don't play. But if you got something to add to the conversation, man, come on up here.
I thought porn was life insurance.
Come on,
hey man,
come on to the mothership. Come on to the mothership.
Yeah, right. And for GI, if you 50 plus, yeah, that might be it. but anyway, so I'm wrap up here. But I want to say something also. So we're working on this thing called Knicks Versus, and we're working on this thing called the Knicks Unbiased podcast, where the Knicks Unbiased podcast to be in audio form. So we're just working on a platform where we can, you know, spread the word. Something short, like 25, 30 minutes. Something like if you drive into the store or something, you can just listen to it real quick on your way to the store. It ain't nothing major, nothing heavy. And the Knicks Versus is something real short, man, like something 8 to 10 minutes, where it's Knicks versus something, i.e. Knicks versus Brooklyn, right? Say Knicks versus the media. You know what I'm saying? Knicks versus the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So we're working on a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of content to put out there for y'all. And I sincerely appreciate everybody that come through and listen, because I don't take y'all for granted. I don't take anybody in the chat for granted, because it's your decision to, you know what I'm saying, to come here and it weighs on whether we're popping or not.
We love you, Uncle Freeze. We love you, man.
Yeah. So if you in the chat and I hadn't shouted you out in a while, it's not because I forgot about you. It's just because we have so many things going on. But I appreciate everybody in the chat, and I have a promise to everybody in the chat, to here in the chat and future listeners too, that I'm gonna try to provide the best content I possibly can and get y'all some guests that y'all can interact with, because I know on most days you can't interact with certain superstars or whatever. So since you can't go to them, I'm gonna try to bring them to y'all. So that's my word. And so with that said, I'm gonna get out of here. On that, me and Chuck B did a Knicks Versus. Make sure y'all keep an eye out for that. If y'all have y'all notifications turned on, as soon as we upload it, y'all get the notification for that, and y'all will get to check that out. Anyway, thanks for everybody in the video channel. I mean, in the video chat, for coming through. I'm sorry we got off to a slow start, because
don't worry, you'll get my doctor's bill. It'll be sent to Chuck. You know, you'll pay that doctor's bill.
I got one. I got one. And for the record, Gi said something real greasy this morning, and the doctor heard it and laughed. I was just gonna say that. You can throw that out there. Something about colonoscopies and something. So I'm gonna bounce, man. Everybody have a good day, man, and we'll see y'all tonight at 11:45, man. Hey, love y'all too, man. All right.
Take care. All right.